Wonderful.
Okay, so we're gonna go live any second now, and it'll be some awkward. Someone say something awkward to start us off.
All right.
Did you know Jimmy Stewart had PTSD filming this movie, so all the breakdowns are like real.
Oh, that was actually a very interesting thing to start us off with. Actually,
Really
Good
It
job.
really is.
They said that
Okay.
Thank you.
he said
Hello,
that it kind of-
everybody.
It saved him.
Oh,
Welcome to Scripts Gone Wild, the only place that rewards you for getting trashed a couple days before Jesus popped out. I am your host for the evening, Billy Ray Bruton, and tonight we are closing out our 2020 series of reads. This is our final read of 2020, our final Christmas read, and we are tackling Frank Capra's It's a Wonderful Life. And that's really exciting. It's something that surely everybody watching this has seen 1,000 times. And you're probably thinking, why would you take such a beloved classic and massacre it with a bunch of drunkards? And there's a reason for that. And it's called Toys for Tots. And Toys for Tots is our charity tonight. Founded in 1947, it's run by the United States Marine Corps, and it distributes toys for children whose parents cannot afford gifts for Christmas. You probably see their bins all over the place, and we're super excited to be collecting money for Toys for Tots. And there are so many ways you can donate. Go to our website, scriptsgonewild.com. You can click on the donate tab. It's going to take you directly to the Toys for Tots portal where you can make a donation, a tax-deductible donation. I'll also be posting the direct link in the chat here on YouTube, so you can also get to it that way. We encourage you to donate however much you can, $5, $50, $1,000, whatever you want to donate would be amazing, and it's going to go to some great use either this Christmas or next Christmas. We'll also be reminding you throughout the read to make donations to Toys for Tots. So thank you very much for making that donation, which I know you're going to do. I can already feel it. And now I'm going to introduce our cast for this read. And if everybody, I think I see everybody is on here now. There we go. Perfect. We've got Amanda Wyss.
Woohoo!
Yay!
Tate Ellington.
Barely. You barely have.
We barely got her. Tate Ellington.
Woohoo!
Kirk Thatcher.
Every time you make a donation, an angel gets his wings.
Oh, see, I wish that were true. Adam Carl.
Yay!
Carolina Bonetti. Billy Butler.
Billy!
Uh,
Woohoo!
Randolph Thompson.
Hey!
Chad Addison.
Addison.
Ryan Gowland.
Ryan Gowland.
Ken Foster.
Kim Foster.
Clay Keller.
Keller.
Rico Anderson.
Rico!
Anderson.
Oh my god.
Suave!
Tasha Ames.
James.
Aaron LaPlante.
Aaron LaPlante.
And Drea Clark.
Bill Clark.
So we've got a couple of things. So first of all, I do want to recognize what I just recognized to everybody in private, which is that Aaron, Rico, and Clay are officially tied for the most Scripts Gone Wild reads ever.
Wow.
They are trailing. Clark Wolf is trailing just behind them, but they are tied. So after this one, it's still going to be tied. Who knows when the tie will break? I guess it'll break at the next read.
You probably know. You have these scheduled out for the next like 2 months.
Clay, I believe. Actually, you know what? Clay will be winning after the next read.
Hey, but Billy Ray, how long did I hold the title for?
Oh, for a while. A good year?
No.
I think so.
Really?
Oh, yeah, you held it for a long time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think Rico deserves a drink.
Cheers!
Freak!
Cheers!
Rico.
We also
Rico.
did something on Twitter today just because I felt like it because I started drinking early. And we ran a Twitter poll asking our audience, we gave them 4 options and they could vote on who they wanted to. The first 3 times that person flubs a line, they have to double drink. And so the options were Adam, Chad, Clay, and Rico. And I was positive that they were going to go Rico, but they did not. They went Clay. So the first three, but it only counts the first 3 times you flub a line. So if you don't flub a line, you're off the hook.
No pressure.
Billy Ray, I'm honored that your Twitter followers gravitated my direction, but I'm afraid I'm going to disappoint them. I don't have that many lines, and I'm not prone to flubbing, so I feel like this is going to be wasted on me. So, but
whoa!
Anyway.
You might have just like cursed yourself.
I
there.
think you did.
I just jinxed it.
Overconfidence.
Now
Overconfident curse.
Now say the Scottish play, and it'll be guaranteed.
Oh, we're reading that next week. So here's the rules for everybody at home who has never played Scripts Gone Wild. It is a drinking game. If any of our readers flub a line, miss a cue, do anything that we can construe as a mistake, they have to take a drink as their own personal punishment. We also choose what we call social words. These are words that when folks read the dialogue in the script, if any of these words come up in the dialogue, only the dialogue, not the stage direction, then everybody has to take a drink. We have 3 words for tonight, just like we did last week, because it's a 169-page script. Why not? Those words are Christmas, money, and hee-haw.
Oh, good Lord.
Christmas, money, and hee-haw. So good luck with that.
I'm still having technical difficulties. Don't start anything yet.
Oh, we're still preambling. Don't you worry.
Okay, good.
We also have a finish your drink line, which is chosen by our Patreon subscribers, and this is a line in the script that whenever we get to it, everybody finishes whatever drink is in their hand, whether it's a fresh sip, a pour. I messed that up for the first time ever. Whether it's a fresh pour or a couple of sips, I need a drink on that. And the line tonight is, "What is it you want, Mary? What do you want? You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down."
Never heard that before.
That's the line. That's the classic line. So thank you to our Patreon subscribers for choosing that particular line.
Were you just subtly giving a line reading to the actors? Because I feel
Yes. How's it going, Amanda?
Holy cow. Oh, wait, that's from the movie too. Ah!
It
Hold
is.
on,
It
I
is.
lost the script. I lost the script.
As Amanda works out her technical
started
difficulties,
drinking yet.
I'm going to insist one more time that you make a donation to Toys for Tots.
Yes.
They are the ones that we are doing this read for. And if you make a donation and you want to say, "Hey, look, I made a donation," send it to us. Screenshot. You don't win anything this time, but we'll be like, "Oh, that's cool." And if I get it before the read's over, I'll be like, "Hey, let's drink to this person."
Tell them how to do that, Billy Ray. How do they
sure.
make the donation? Yeah.
You go to our website, scriptsgonewild.com, click on that donate tab. It's going to take you directly to their portal so you can donate however much you want to donate. If it's a couple bucks or a couple $1,000, or just keep checking the YouTube chat, and I'm going to be posting it throughout the read because this is mostly dialogue, folks, and not as much stage direction. So I'm going to have a lot of downtime. Okay. I think Amanda may be close to ready.
She's crying.
This is a whole beautiful thing.
It's 2020, Jake.
We're gonna just dive in head first.
You got it.
Okay, is everybody ready for this 169-page epic?
No.
Marathon.
Oh, no.
No.
Yes,
No.
do it
Oh,
Do it.
Amanda's got her hat.
for the children.
Here we go.
Do it.
It's
the
a Wonderful
children.
Life by Francis Goodrich, Albert Hackett, Frank Capra, and Joe Swerling. Fade in. Bedford Falls, somewhere in New York State. The streets are deserted. Snow is falling. It is Christmas Eve. We hear prayers. It's Rico's line. Of course, it's Rico's
Right out of the gate.
You were going to be reading more.
Short.
Oh my.
picked Rico. Should have picked Rico.
What? I owe everything to George Bailey. Help him, dear Father.
Joseph, Jesus, and Mary, help my friend, Mr. Bailey.
Help my son George tonight.
He never thinks about himself, God. That's why he's in trouble.
George is a good guy. Give him a break, God.
I love him, dear Lord. Watch over him tonight.
Please, God, something's the matter with Daddy. Please bring Daddy back.
And now there's snow falling, and we're in the firmament of stars.
Hello, Joseph. Trouble.
Looks like we'll have to send someone down. A lot of people are asking for help for a man named George Bailey.
George Bailey, yes. Tonight's his crucial night. You're right. We'll have to send someone down immediately. Whose turn is it?
That's why I came to see you, sir. It's that clockmaker's turn again.
Oh, Clarence. Hasn't gotten his wings yet, has he? We've passed him up right along.
Because, sir, he's got the IQ of a rabbit.
Yes, but he's got the faith of a child. Simple. Joseph, send for Clarence.
A small star flies in. It twinkles.
Are you sent for me, sir?
Yes, Clarence. A man down on Earth needs our help.
Oh, splendid. Is he sick?
No, worse. He's discouraged. At exactly 10:45 p.m. tonight, Earth time, that man will be thinking seriously of throwing away God's greatest gift.
Oh, dear, his life. Well, I've only got an hour to dress. What are they wearing now?
You will spend that hour getting acquainted with George Bailey.
Sir, if I should accomplish this mission, I mean, might I perhaps win my wings? I've been waiting for over 200 years now, sir, and people are beginning to talk.
What's that book you've got there?
Oh, it's The Adventures of Tom Sawyer.
Clarence, you do a good job with George Bailey, and you'll get your wings.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Poor George. Sit down.
Sit down. Why? What are we?
If you're going to help a man, you want to know something about him, don't you?
Oh, well, naturally, of course.
Well, keep your eyes open. See the town?
Where?
Out.
Where? No, I don't see a thing.
Oh, I forgot. You haven't got your wings yet. Now look, I'll help you out. Concentrate. Begin to see something?
Angels are very cliquish. We see a group of young boys on top of a snow-covered hill.
Why, yes. Yes, this is amazing.
If you ever get your wings, you'll see all by yourself.
Oh, wonderful.
Frozen River and Hill, 1919. A group of boys preparing to slide down the hill on large shovels. One of them makes the slide and shoots out onto the ice of a frozen river at the bottom of the hill.
Yippee!
Oh, hey, who's that?
Now that's your problem, George Bailey.
A boy?
That's him when he was 12 back in 1919. Something happens here you'll have to remember later on.
They keep sliding, George at the bottom of it.
Yippee!
And here comes the scary baby, my kid brother, Harry Bailey.
On top of the hill, preparing.
I'm not scared.
Come on,
Harry! Harry makes a slide very fast, passes the marks by the other boys, and his shovel takes him to the thin ice at the bend of the river. The ice breaks, and Harry disappears into the water.
I'm coming, Harry!
George jumps in and grabs him, starts to pull him out.
Make a chain, gang! A chain!
They make a chain gang. The other boys lie flat on the ice, forming a human chain. When George reaches the edge with Harry in his arms, they pull him both to safety.
George saved his brother's life that day, but he caught a bad cold which infected his left ear, cost him his hearing in that ear. It was weeks before he could return to his after-school job at Old Man Gower's drugstore.
Bedford Falls, Main Street. 5 or 6 boys are coming towards camera arm in arm whistling. Their attention is drawn to the elaborate horse-drawn carriage proceeding down the other side of the street. We watch an elderly man riding in it. The boys watch it.
Mr. Potter!
Oh, who's that? A king?
That's Henry F. Potter, the richest and meanest man in the county.
They reach Mr. Gower's drugstore. It's a drugstore.
So long!
That's 2 hee-haws. Drink twice.
We all have to do that? Okay.
George comes in and crosses to an old-fashioned cigar lighter on the counter and shuts his eyes and makes a wish.
Wish I had $1 million. Hot dog!
George crosses over to the soda fountain in which Mary Hatch, a small girl, is seated watching him. George goes on to get his apron and behind the fountain.
It's me, Mr. Gower, George Bailey.
Mr. Gower, the druggist, played by Rico Anderson, peering from a window in the back room. We see him take a drink from a bottle.
Oh, was that me? You're late. I said it. You're late.
Oh, I didn't hear it. I'm so sorry. I'll drink. George behind the soda fountain, putting on his apron.
Yes, sir.
Violet Bick enters the drugstore and sits on one of the stools at the fountain. She's the same height as Mary and age. She's infinitely older in her approach to people.
Hello, George. Hello, Mary.
Hello, Violet.
George regards the two of them with manly disgust. There are two kids to him and a nuisance. He starts over for the candy counter.
2 cents worth of shoelaces.
She was here first.
I'm still thinking.
Shoelaces?
Please, Georgie. I like him.
You like every boy.
What's wrong with that?
Here you are.
George gives Violet a paper sack containing licorice shoelaces. Violet gives him the money.
Help me down?
Help you down?
Violet jumps down off her stool and exits. Mary, watching, sticks out her tongue as she passes.
Make up your mind yet?
Take chocolate.
He dips.
With coconuts?
I don't like coconuts.
You don't like coconuts? Say, brainless, don't you know where coconuts come from? Look at here, from Tahiti, Fiji Islands, the Coral Sea.
Removes the magazine.
A new magazine. I never saw it before.
Of course you never. Only us explorers could get it. I've been nominated for membership of the National Geographic Society.
He leans down to finish scooping out the ice cream, his deaf ear towards her. She leans over, speaking softly.
Is this the ear you can't hear on? George Bailey, I'll love you till the day I die.
Oh.
I'm going out exploring someday. You watch. And I'm going to have a couple of harems and maybe 3 or 4 wives. Wait and see.
That's something for a boy to want, some harems. The prescription.
Some harems, not just one harem, a couple.
Oh, you got to have more than one.
Gower
your
comes to the
weekend
entrance of the prescription room. He is bleary-eyed, unshaven, chewing an old unlit cigar. His manner is gruff and mean, and it is evident he has been drinking.
George! George!
Yes, sir?
You're not paid to be a canary.
No, sir.
He turns back to the register and notices an open telegram on the shelf. He starts to read it. It reads, "We regret to inform you that your son, Robert, died very suddenly this morning of influenza. Stop. Everything possible was done for his comfort. Stop. We await instructions from you. Edward Mellington, President, Hamilton College." George puts the telegram down. A goodness of heart expresses itself in a desire to do something for Mr. Gower. He gives the ice cream to Mary without comment and sidles back towards Gower. Gower, drunk as shit, is intent on putting some capsules into a box.
Mr. Gower, do you want something? Anything?
No.
Anything I can do back here?
No.
George realizes that he is quite drunk. Gower fumbles and drops some of the capsules. They spill at their feet.
I'll get them, sir.
He picks them up and puts them in the box. Gower waves George aside, taking his old wet cigar, shoving it in his mouth, and sitting in an old Morris chair in the background. George turns to a bottle around from which Gower has taken the powder for the capsules. Its label reads, "Poison." George stands still, horrified.
Take these capsules over to Mrs. Blaine. She's waiting for them.
George picks up the capsule box, not knowing what to do or say. His eyes go harassed to the bottle labeled "Poison." George's fingers fumble.
Yes, sir. They have the diphtheria there, haven't they, sir?
Gower stares moodily ahead, sucking on that cigar.
Is it charged, sir?
Yes, charge.
Mr. Gower, I think,
Get going.
Yes, sir.
George comes into the main room. As he puts on his cap, he sees a sweet Caparol's ad, which says, "Ask Dad, he knows. Sweet Caparol." With an inspiration, George dashes out the door down the street. Mary follows him with her eyes. George runs down the street until he comes opposite a 2-story building with a sign on it reading Bailey Building and Loan Association. He stops. Potter's carriage is waiting at the entrance, and suddenly he runs up the stairs. The offices are ancient and have been on the rickety side, and there is a counter with a grill, something like a bank. Before a door marked Peter Bailey, Private, George's Uncle Billy stands, obviously trying to hear what is going on inside. He's a very good-humored man of about 50 in short sleeves, and with him at the door also listening are Cousin Tilly Bailey, a waspish-looking woman who is the telephone operator, and Cousin Eustace Bailey, the clerk. The office vibrates with an aura of crisis as George enters and proceeds directly towards his father's office. Uncle Billy listening at the door. As George is about to enter it, Uncle Billy grabs him by the arm.
Vast there, Captain Cook. Where you heading?
Gotta see Pop, Uncle Billy.
Some other time, George.
It's important.
There's a squall in there that's shaping up into a storm.
Doesn't until he answers the phone.
Uncle Billy, telephone.
Who is it?
Bank examiner.
There are pieces of string tied around two of the fingers of Uncle Billy's left hand, obviously reminding of things to do.
Bank examiner. Oh, I should have called him yesterday. Switch it inside.
He enters the door marked William Bailey, private. George stands irresolute a moment. Irresolute a moment. Aware of crisis in the affairs of the Bailey Building and Loan Association, but aware more keenly of his personal crisis. George's father is seated behind his desk, nervously drawing swirls on a pad. He looks tired and worried. A gentleman in his 40s, an idealist, stubborn only for other people's rights. Nearby, in a throne-like wheelchair, behind which stands the goon who furnishes the motive power, sits Henry F. Potter, his squarish derby hat on his head. The following dialogue is fast and heated, as though the argument has been in process for some time.
I'm not crying, Mr. Potter.
Well, you're begging. That's a whole lot worse.
All I'm asking for is 30 days. 30 days more. Just a minute, son. Just 30 short days. I'll dig up that 5,000 somehow.
So shut me up. Shut me up.
He does.
Have you put any real pressure on those people to pay those mortgages?
Times are bad, Mr. Potter. A lot of these people are out of work.
Then foreclose.
I can't do that. These families have children.
They're not my children.
But they're somebody's children.
Are you running a business or a charity, Ward?
Well, all right.
Not with my money.
Mr. Potter, what makes you such a hard-skulled character? You have no family, no children. You can't begin to spend all the money you've got.
Oh, so I suppose I should give it to miserable failures like you and that idiot brother of yours to spend for me.
He's not a failure. You can't say that about my father.
George.
You're not. You're the biggest man in town.
Run along.
Bigger than him.
As George passes Potter's wheelchair, he pushes the old man's shoulder and the goon puts out a restraining hand.
Bigger than everybody.
George proceeds to the door.
Well, that gives you an idea of the Baileys.
George and his father are at the door now.
Don't let him say that about your pop.
All right, son, thanks. I'll talk to you tonight.
Gower's drugstore. Gower talking on the telephone. George standing in the doorway.
Why, that medicine should have been there an hour ago. It'll be over in 5 minutes, Mrs. Blaine.
He hangs up.
Where is Mrs. Blaine's box of capsules?
He drags George into the back room.
Capsules?
You hear what I said?
Yes, sir.
Gower starts hitting George about the head with his open hands. George tries to protect himself as best he can. That wouldn't happen in 2020.
What kind of tricks are you playing anyway? Why didn't you deliver them in and back anyway? Don't you know that boy's very sick?
You hurt my sore ear.
Mary is still seated at the soda fountain. Each time she hears George being slapped, she winces.
You lazy loafer.
Mr. Gower, you don't know what you're doing. You put something wrong in those capsules. I know you're unhappy. You got that telegram and you're upset. You put something bad in those capsules. It wasn't your fault, Mr. Gower.
George pulls a little box out of his pocket and savagely rips it away from him, breathing heavily, staring at the boy venomously.
Just look and see what you did. Look at the bottle. You took the powder from... It's poison. I tell you, it's poison. I know you feel bad.
George falters off, cupping his aching ear with a hand that was just beaten by an adult. George looks at the large brown bottle, which has not been replaced on the shelf, tears open the package, shakes the powder out of one of the capsules, cautiously tastes it, then abruptly throws the whole mess to the table and turns to look at George again, eating crow. The boy is whimpering, hurt, frightened. Gower steps toward him.
Don't hurt my sore ear again.
Gower hugs him now like that makes up for it.
No.
Don't hurt my ear again.
Oh, George.
You, Mr. Gower, I won't ever tell anyone. I know what you're feeling. I won't ever tell a soul. Hope to die, I won't. If you don't beat me.
Morty. Oh, George.
Luggage shop, 1928. Late afternoon, a young man is looking over an assortment of luggage. Across the counter stands Joe Hepner, the proprietor of the store. He's showing a suitcase.
An overnight bag, genuine English cowhide, combination lock fitted up with brushes, combs.
Nope.
George is a young man now.
Nope. Now look, Joe. Now look, I want a big one.
Suddenly in action, as George stands with his arms outstretched in illumination, the picture freezes and becomes still. Over this hold frame shot, we hear...
What did you stop it for?
I want you to take a good look at that face.
Well, who is it?
George Bailey.
Oh, you mean the kid that had his ears slapped by the druggist?
That's the kid.
Oh, well, it's a good face. I like it. I like this George Bailey. Tell me, did he ever tell anyone about those pills?
Not a soul.
Oh, did he ever marry that girl? Did he ever go exploring?
Well, wait and see.
Back to life.
Big, see? I don't want one for one night. I want something for 1,001 nights with plenty of room for labels from Italy and Baghdad, American, and a great big one.
I see. A flying carpet, huh? I don't suppose you'd like this old second-hand job, would you?
Now you're talking. Gee whiz, I could use this as a raft in case the boat sunk. How much does this cost?
No charge.
That's my trick here, Joe. Did you? It sounded as if you said no charge.
That's right.
What's my name doing on it?
A little present from old man Gower. Came down and picked it out himself.
He did. What do you know about that? My old boss.
What boat you sailing on?
I'm working across on a cattle boat.
A cattle boat?
Okay, I like cows.
Gower's drugstore. The place is practically the same, except it is now full of school kids having sodas, a jukebox, and many little tables. Gower is a different man now, doesn't abuse children, sober, shaven, and good-humored. He's behind the counter when George comes in. His face lights up, hoping that George still doesn't press charges.
Mr. Gower, thanks ever so much for the bag. It's just exactly what I wanted.
Forget it.
It's wonderful.
He sees the old cigar lighter on the counter.
Oh, I hope you enjoy it.
I wish I had $1 million. Hot dog!
Main Street, Bedford Falls. George crosses the street. Uncle Billy, Cousin Tilly, and Cousin Eustace are leaning out the second floor window of the building and loan office.
Avast there, Captain Cook. You got your sea legs yet?
Parlez-vous français? Hey, send us some of them picture postcards, will you, George?
Hey, George, don't take any plugged nickels.
Hey, George, your suitcase is leaking.
George crosses the street. He spots Ernie in his cab and Bert, the motor cop, parked alongside.
Hey, Ernie.
Hiya, George.
Hi, Bert.
George.
Ernie, I'm a rich tourist today. How about driving me home in style?
Sure, Your Highness. Hop in. And for the carriage trade, I puts on my hat.
As George is about to enter the cab, he stops suddenly as he sees Violet, now obviously a little sex machine, come towards him. Her walking figure would stop anybody. She gives him a sultry look.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bailey.
Oh, shit.
Well, hello, Violet. Hey, you look good. That's some dress you got there.
This old thing, why, I only wear it when I don't care how I look.
As Violet goes by, George and Bert raise their heads above the top of the cab. On Violet's back as she goes, as she crosses the street, an elderly man turns to look at her and is almost hit by a car that pulls up with screeching brakes.
I'm gonna do the screeching brakes. That was really good.
How would you like?
Yeah.
Want to come along, Bert? We'll show you the town.
Nah, thanks. I think I'll go home and see what the wife's doing.
Family man.
Bailey dining room. Pop Bailey is seated at the dinner table. Mrs. Bailey and Annie, the cook, look up toward the vibrating ceiling. There are sounds of terrific banging and scuffling upstairs, probably not from sex. Annie pounds on the ceiling with a broom.
George, Harry, you're shaking the house down. Stop it.
Oh, let him alone. I wish I was up there with him.
Harry'll tear his dinner suit. George?
Is that me? Nope.
And it's not me.
The children should be girls.
But if they were all girls, there wouldn't be any. Never mind. George, Harry, come down to dinner this minute. Everything's getting cold. You know we've been waiting for you.
Okay, Mom.
She goes up the stairs. Papa's smiling and poking his plate. A commotion is heard. The boys imitating fanfare music, and then down they come, holding their mother high between them on their hands. They bring her into the dining room and deposit her gracefully into Pop's lap.
Here's a present for you, Pop.
Pop kisses her. Mother gives Pop a quick hug, then turns with all the wrath she can muster on the two boys.
Ah, you two idiots. George, sit down and have dinner.
I've eaten.
Well, aren't you going to finish dressing for your graduation party? Look at you.
I don't care. It's George's tux.
If you lay a hand on me, I'll hit you with this broom.
Annie, I'm in love with you. There's a moon out tonight.
Pushes her through the kitchen door. He slaps her fanny. She screams. The noise is cut off by the swinging door, and George and his mother sit down at the table.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Last meal at the old Bailey boarding house.
Oh, my lands, my blood pressure.
Harry sticks his head through the door.
Pop, can I have the car? I'm going to take a lot of things over. I fucked it up.
Double drink.
Maybe that was on purpose to satisfy your fans, Billy, right?
Maybe so.
Pop, can I have the car? I'm going to take over a lot of plates and things.
What plates?
Oh, Mom, I'm the chairman of the Eats Committee, and we only need a couple of dozen.
Oh, no, you don't. Harry, now, not my best Haviland.
He follows Harry into the kitchen.
Oh, let him have the plates, Mother.
George and his father eating at the table. There's great similarity and great understanding between them.
Hope you have a good trip, George. Uncle Billy and I are going to miss you.
I'm going to miss you too, Pop. What's the matter? You look tired.
Well, I had another tussle with Potter today.
Oh.
I thought we put him on the board of directors. He's up on us a little bit.
I wonder what's eating that old money-grubbing buzzard anyway.
Oh,
Drink.
he's a sick
Money.
Money?
Honey, right, Billy Ray?
That's it.
Oh, he's a sick man. Frustrated and sick. Sick in his mind, sick in his soul, if he has one. Hates everybody that has anything that he can't have. Hates us mostly, I guess.
The dining room. Harry and his mother come out of the kitchen, Harry carrying a pie in each hand and balancing one on his head.
Gangway, gangway. So long, Pop.
So long, son.
Got a match?
Very funny, very funny.
Put those things in the car. I'll get your tie and studs together.
Okay, Mom. You coming later? You coming later, George?
What do you mean? And be bored to death?
Couldn't want a better death. Lots of pretty girls. We're going to use that new floor of yours tonight, too.
I hope it works.
No gin tonight, son.
Pop, just a little.
No, son. Not one drop.
And he comes in with some dishes.
Boys and girls and music? Why do they need gin?
Father, did I act like that when I graduated from high school?
Pretty much. You know, George, we wish we could send Harry to college with you. Your mother and I talked it over half the night.
We have that all figured out. You see, Harry will take my job at the building alone, work there for 4 years, then he'll go.
He's pretty young for that job.
Well, no younger than I was.
Maybe you were born older, George.
How's that?
I say maybe you were born older. I suppose you've decided what you're doing when you get out of college.
Oh, well, you know, what I've always talked about. Building things, design new buildings, plan modern cities, all that stuff I was talking about.
Still, after that first million before you're 30.
No, I'll settle for half that in cash.
Of course, it's just a hope, but you wouldn't consider coming back to the building and loan, would you?
Well, Oh, Annie, why don't you draw up a chair? Then you'd be more comfortable and you could hear everything that's going on.
I would if I thought I'd hear anything worth listening to.
Oh, you would, huh?
Gives George a look.
I know it's soon to talk about it.
Oh, now, Pop, I couldn't face being cooped up for the rest of my life in a shabby little office. Oh.
Ouch.
I'm sorry, Pop. I didn't mean that remark, but this business of nickels and dimes and spending all your life trying to figure out how to save 3 cents on a length of pipe, I'd go crazy. I'm going to do something big and something important. You know, not like you.
Right. You know, George, I feel that in a small way we're doing something important. Satisfying a fundamental urge. It's deep in the race for a man who wants his own roof and walls and fireplace, and we're helping him get those things in our shabby little office.
I know, Dad. I wish I felt I'd have been hoarding pennies like a miser in order to... Most of my friends have already finished college. I just feel like if I don't get away, I'd bust.
Yes, yes. You're right, son.
See what I mean, don't you, Pop?
This town is no place for any man unless he's willing to crawl to Potter. You got talent, son. You get yourself an education, then get the fuck out of here.
Pop, you want a shot? I think you're a pretty great guy.
He looks towards the kitchen to shoot Annie some shade.
Did you hear that, Annie?
I heard it. About time when you lunkhead said it.
I'm going to miss you, old Annie. Pop, I think I'll get dressed and go over to Harry's party.
Have a good time, son. And have some gin.
Yes. I feel like most people like to have the adjective old put in front of them.
Yes.
High school gym. At one end of the room, an orchestra is playing. George wins his way through the dancing couples toward a supper table. He and Harry are carrying plates and pies.
Here you are.
Some boys take them.
You know my kid brother George. I'm going to put him through college.
Sam Wainwright comes in behind Harry, waggles his hand at his ears as he talks.
Here comes George. Hello.
Drake! He turns around to find Sam and Mary Hatch. Sam is assured and breezy, wearing very collegiate clothes.
Oh, Sam Wainwright. How are you? When'd you get here?
This afternoon. I thought I'd give the kids a treat.
Old college graduate now, huh?
Yeah, old Joe College Wainwright, they call me. Well, freshman, looks like you're going to make it after all.
Yep.
Harry, you're the guy I want to see. Coach has heard all about you.
He has?
Yeah, he followed every game and his mouth's watering. He wants me to find out if you're going to come along with us.
Well, I got to make some dough first.
Well, you better make it fast. We need great ends like you, not broken old guys like this one.
Oh, hee-haw.
Crying
Hee-haw!
Double Drake!
Oh, shit.
Oh,
An elderly, fussy school principal comes over to George.
George, welcome back.
Hello, Mr. Partridge. How are you?
Putting a pool under this floor was a great idea. Saved us another building. Now, Harry, Sam, have a lot of fun. There's lots of stuff to eat and drink, lots of pretty girls around.
Violet Mick comes into the scene and turns to face George.
Hey, George.
Hello, Violet.
Hello. What am I bid?
Mary enters. Marty enters. Marty Hatch enters.
Marty.
George,
Hiya, Marty. Well, it's old home week.
do me a favor, will you, George?
What's that?
Will you remember my kid sister Mary?
Oh, yeah.
Mama wants you, Marty. Mama wants you, Marty. Remember?
Dance with her, will you?
Oh, me? Oh, well, I feel funny enough already with all these kids.
Ah, come on, be a sport. Just dance with her one time. And you'll give her the thrill of her life.
Go on.
Hey, sis.
Well, excuse me, Violet. Don't be long, Marty. I don't want to be a wet nurse for...
Mary Hatch is standing talking to one of the boys. Freddie, a glass of punch in her hand. For the first time, she's wearing an evening gown and says gained assurance from the admiration of the boy with her. She turns around and sees George. She loses her poise.
This is Alfalfa, by the way.
Do we have a Freddie?
And we do have a Freddie somewhere.
Freddie.
No, not me.
Not me.
And the next thing I know, some guy came up and tripped me. And that's the reason why I came in fourth. If it hadn't been for that, that race would have been a cinch. I tried to find out who it was later. But I couldn't find out. Nobody'd ever tell you whoever it was because they'd be scared, you know. They know what kind of...
Hey, you remember, George? This is Mary. Well, I'll be seeing you.
Oh, well.
Now, to get back to my story, see.
Mary hands her punch cup to Freddie, and she and George start dancing. Ouch.
Hey, this is my dance.
Oh, why don't you stop annoying people?
That wasn't me. My bad.
I'm sorry.
High school is so cruel. George and Mary dance.
Well, hello.
Oh, you look at me as if you didn't know me.
Well, I don't.
You've passed me on the street almost every day.
Me?
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. That was a little girl named Mary Hatch. That wasn't you.
Oye, oye, oye! The big Charleston contest. The prize, a genuine loving cup. I don't know what that means. Those are not tapped by the judge will remain on the floor. Let's go.
Music starts and couples begin dancing once more.
I'm not very good at this.
Neither am I.
Okay, what can we lose?
They start at Charleston. Leaning against the railing around the dance floor, looking daggers at George, Mickey, a young punk who has had one too many, is beside him.
What's the matter, Othello? You jealous? Did you know there's a swimming pool under this floor? And did you know that button behind you causes this floor to open up? And did you further know that George Bailey is dancing right over that crack? And I got the key.
Freddie needs no more. He takes the keys from Mickey and turns the switch, and the floor begins to part in the middle, each half sliding under the bleacher seats. Pandemonium starts. Dancers begin to scream as they try to get off, and some are so engrossed in dancing they continue at top speed. Teachers and elders start to scurry off as the floor opens, and it reveals an attractive lighted swimming pool. George and Mary are so busy dancing they don't notice the floor moving right beneath their goddamn feet. Spotlights concentrate on them, and they mistake the screams for cheers like you do.
They're cheering us. We must be good.
The crowd watches George and Mary dancing, and they move backwards until finally they fall into the pool below, trying to dance in the water still, the crowd on the edge cheering them. George and Mary, now on a tree-lined residential street. The night is warm with a bright moon. George is dressed in jersey sweater and oversized football pants, one of the best costumes in movie history. They keep wanting to come down. Mary is in an old white bathrobe. Each is carrying their wet clothes tied into a bundle that leaves a trail of dripping water. As they near the camera, we hear them singing.
Buffalo Gals.
Buffalo Gals, can't you come out tonight? Can't you come out tonight? Can't you come out tonight? Buffalo Gals, can't you come out tonight and dance by the light of the moon?
Beautiful.
Hot dog, just like an organ.
Beautiful.
Oh, that was the whole drink. Fuck. Cover later. Sorry. When I told Harry I thought I'd be bored to death. You should have seen the commotion in that locker room. I had to knock down 3 people to get this stuff we're wearing here. Here, let me hold that old wet dress of yours.
He takes the bundle of clothes from Mary.
Do I look as funny as you do?
Guess I'm not quite the football type. You look wonderful. You know, if it wasn't me talking, I'd say you were the prettiest girl in town.
Well, why don't you say it?
I don't know. Maybe I will say it. How old are you anyway? 18?
18.
18? Well, it was only last year. You were 17.
Too young or too old?
Oh, no, just right. Your age fits you. Yes, sir. You look a little older without your clothes on. I mean, without a dress, you look older. I mean younger. You look just...
George is confused.
Oh!
Sir, my train, please.
A pox upon me, a clumsy louse.
He picks up the belt and throws it over her arm.
Your caboose, my lady.
You may kiss my hand.
He moves in closer.
Hey, Mary.
She turns away, singing Buffalo Gals.
As I was lumbering down the street.
George looks after her, then picks up a rock from the street.
Okay, then I'll throw a rock at that old Granville house.
Oh, no, don't. I love that old house.
It is a weather-beaten, old-fashioned 2-story house that once was no doubt resplendent.
No, you see, you make a wish, and then you try and break some glass. You got to be a pretty good shot nowadays, too.
Oh, no, George, don't. It's full of romance, that old place. I'd like to live in it.
In that place?
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't live in that as a ghost. Now watch, right on the second floor there.
George hurls the rock at the house, and we hear the sound of a window breaking. We see a grumpy old man in shirt sleeves in a rocking chair on the porch, and he looks up as he hears the breaking glass.
What'd you wish for, George?
Well, not just one wish, a whole hatful, Mary. I know what I'm going to do tomorrow and the next day and the next and the year after that. I'm shaking the dust off this crummy little town off my feet, and I'm going to see the world. Italy, Greece, the Parthenon, the Colosseum. Then I'm coming back here, go to college, and see what they know. Then I'm going to build things. I'm going to build airfields. I'm going to build skyscrapers and 100 stories high. I'm going to build bridges a mile long.
Mary has been listening intently. She finally stoops down, and picks up a rock, weighing it in her hand.
Are you going to throw a rock?
She does, and she connects.
Yeah. Hey, that's pretty good. What'd you wish for, Mary?
Mary looks at him provocatively, then turns and shuffles off down the street, singing as she goes.
Buffalo Gals, can't you come out tonight? Come out tonight, can't you come out tonight? Buffalo Gals, can't you come out tonight and dance by the light of the moon?
What'd you wish for when you threw the rock?
The man on the porch of the house is listening. They've stopped walking and now face one another.
Oh, no.
Come on, tell me.
If I told you, it might not come true.
What is it you want, Mary? What do you want? You want the moon? Just say. Just say the word, and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down. Hey, that's a pretty good idea. I'll give you the moon, Mary.
That's the finish your drink line, everybody. Everybody finish whatever drink is in your hand.
Damn it, I just poured.
Oh, there it is.
Something.
I'll take it. And then what?
Well, then you could swallow it and it all dissolve, see? And the moonbeams would shoot out of your fingers and your toes and the ends of your hair. That's insane. Am I talking too much?
The man jumps out of his chair on the porch.
Now?
Yes. Why don't you kiss her instead of talking her to death?
How's that?
Why don't you kiss her instead of talking her to death?
Want me to kiss her, huh?
Youth is wasted on the wrong people.
Hey, hold on. Hey, mister. Come on back out here and I'll show you some kissing that'll put hair on the back of your head. What are you?
Mary runs off. George has been once more standing on the belt of her bathrobe, and as she goes, her robe comes off.
Mary? Okay, I give up. Where are you?
She's peering out from the leaves.
Over here, in the hydrangea bushes.
He walks toward he walks towards the bush.
Here you are. Catch.
He's about to throw her the robe when a thought strikes him.
Wait a minute. This is fucked up. What am I doing? This is a very interesting situation.
Please give me my robe.
Man doesn't get in a situation like this every day.
I'd like to have my robe.
Not in Bedford Falls, anyway.
She thrashes around the bushes.
Ouch!
Gazuna, this requires a little thought here. What?
George Bailey, give me my robe.
I've heard about things like this, but I've never...
Shame on you. I'm going to tell your mother on you.
My mother's way up in the corner there.
Then I'll call the police.
Well, they're way downtown. They'd be on my side, too.
I'm going to scream.
Maybe I could sell tickets. Let's see. Now, the point is, in order to get this robe, I've got it. I'll make a deal with you, Mary.
Headlights flash into the scene, and the old Bailey automobile drives in with Harry at the wheel and Uncle Billy beside him.
George, come on home quick. Your father's had a stroke.
George throws Mary's robe over the bush and gets into the car.
Mary, I'm sorry. I've got to go.
Come on, George. Let's hurry.
Did you get a doctor?
Yes, Campbell's there now.
Car drives off, and Mary, now wearing the robe, rises up from the bush and follows the car with her eyes. At a directors' meeting, there are about 12 directors seated around a long table, and they are the substantial citizens of Bedford Falls. Dr. Campbell, a lawyer, an insurance agent, a real estate salesman, etc. I hope that's not all the things he is. Prominently seated among them is Henry F. Potter, his goon beside his wheelchair. Uncle Billy and George are seated among the directors, and the chairman of the board is Dr. Campbell. They have folders and papers before them. They're at a meeting.
I think that's all we'll need you for, George. I know you're anxious to make a train.
I got a taxi waiting downstairs.
I want the board to know that George gave up his trip to Europe to help straighten things out here these past few months. Good luck to you at school, George.
Thanks.
Now, we come to the real purpose of this meeting, to appoint a successor to our dear friend, Peter Bailey.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to get to my real purpose.
Just a minute now.
Wait for what? I claim this institution is not necessary to this town. Therefore, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to dissolve this institution and turn its assets and liabilities over to the receiver.
George, do you hear what that buzzard?
Mr. Chairman, it's too soon after Peter Bailey's death to discuss chloroforming the building alone.
Peter Bailey died 3 months ago. I second Mr. Potter's notion.
Very well. In that case, I'll ask the 2 executive officers to withdraw.
Dr. Campbell rises from his seat. George and Uncle Billy start to collect their papers and leave the table.
But before you go, I'm sure the whole board wishes to express its deep sorrow at the passing of Peter Bailey.
Thank you very much.
It was his faith and devotion that are responsible for this organization.
I'll go further than that. I'll say that to the public, Peter Bailey was the building alone.
Oh, that's fine, Potter, coming from you, considering that you probably drove him to his grave.
Peter Bailey was not a businessman. That's what killed him. Oh, I don't mean any disrespect to him. God rest his soul. He was a man of high ideals, so-called. But ideals without common sense can ruin this town. Now, you take this loan here from Ernie Bishop, you know, the fellow that sits around all day on his brains in the taxi cab, you know. I happen to know the bank turned down this loan, but he comes here and we're building him a house worth $5,000. Why?
Well, I handled that, Mr. Potter. You have all the papers there, his salary, insurance. I can personally vouch for his character.
A friend of yours?
Yes, sir.
Oh, you see, if you shoot pool with some employee here, you can come and borrow money. What does that get us? A discontented, lazy rabble instead of a thrifty working class. And all because a few starry-eyed dreamers like Peter Bailey stir them up and fill their heads with a lot of impossible ideas. Now, I say...
George is incensed.
Just a minute. Now, hold on, Mr. Potter. You're right when you say my father was no businessman. Now, I know that. Why he never started this cheap penny ant building and loan, I'll never know. But neither you nor anybody else can say anything against his character, because his whole life was, well, in 25 years since he and Uncle Billy started this thing, he never once thought of himself. Isn't that right, Uncle Billy? He didn't save enough money to send Harry to school, let alone me, but he did help a few people get out of your slums, Mr. Potter. And what's wrong with that? Why, here, you're all businessmen here. Doesn't it make them better customers? You said, what'd you say just a minute ago? They had to wait and save their money before they even ought to think of a decent home. Wait for what? Until their children grow up and leave them? Until they're so old and broken down that they... Do you know how long it takes a working man to save $5,000? Just remember this, Mr. Potter. This rabble you're talking about, they do most of the working and paying and living and dying in this community. Well, is it too much to have them work and pay and live and die in a couple of decent homes, rooms, and a bath? Anyway, my father didn't think so. People were human beings to him, but to you, a warped, frustrated old man, they're cattle. Well, in my book, he died a much richer man than you'll ever be.
I'm not interested in your book. I'm talking about the building and loan.
I know very well what you're talking about. You're talking about something you can't get your fingers on, and it's galling you. That's what you're talking about. I know. Well, I've said too much. You're the board here. You do what you want with this thing. Just one thing more. This town needs this measly one-horse institution, if only to have some place where people can come without crawling to Potter. Come on, Uncle Billy.
George leaves the room, followed by a jubilant Uncle Billy. Potter's face is grim with hatred. What else is new?
Sentimental hogwash. I want my motion.
Billy Ray, there were 3 monies in there.
Drake! Rice!
It's a lot.
What's that? Wow.
Thank you, Clay. George, visibly shaken, is busy with his bag and his papers, worried about the outcome of the meeting. Dissolving the building and loan will alter his plans. Uncle Billy follows him around, chattering.
Boy, oh boy, that was telling him, George, old boy. You shut his big mouth. Oh, you should have heard him.
We heard a lot of yelling.
Well, we're being voted out of business after 25 years. Easy come, easy go.
Here it is. Help wanted. Female.
Ernie's in the doorway.
You still want me to hang around, George?
Yeah, I'll be right down.
Hey, you'll miss your train. You're a week late for school already. Go on.
I wonder what's going on in there.
Oh, never mind. Don't you worry about that. They're putting us out of business. So what? I can get another job. I'm only 55.
56.
All right, you. Go on. Hey, look, you gave up your boat trip and now you don't want to miss college too, do you?
Dr. Campbell comes running out, excited as hell.
George, they voted Potter down. They want to keep it going.
Eustace, Tilly, and Billy wildly cheer as Dr. Campbell
But they got one condition, only one condition.
Yeah, what's that?
That's the best part of it. They've appointed George here as an executive secretary to take his father's place.
God damn it. But Uncle Billy...
You can keep him on. That's all right. As secretary, you can hire anyone you like.
Dr. Campbell, now let's get this thing straight. I'm leaving right now. I'm going to school. This is my last chance. Uncle Billy here, he's your man.
But George, they'll vote with Potter otherwise.
We're backing them stars.
I know. He didn't go.
That's right. Not only that, but he gave his school money to his brother Harry and sent him to college.
Bring.
Harry became a football star, made second team All-American.
Yes, but what happened to George?
Railroad station. Uncharacteristic activities. A number of people waiting for the train. Uncle Billy is seated on a baggage wagon, eating peanuts as George paces up and down.
George got 4 years older, waiting for Harry to come back and take over the building alone.
Oh, there are plenty of jobs around. For somebody that likes to travel. Look at this. There, Venezuela oil fields. Wanted man with construction experience. Here's the Yukon right here. Wanted man with engineering experience.
Woo, woo.
There she blows. You know what the 3 most exciting sounds in the world are?
Uh-huh. Breakfast is served, lunch is served, dinner is...
No. Anchor chains, plane motors, and train whistles.
Peanut?
The train comes to a stop, and Harry is among the first to get off, followed by the attractive girl about the same age as he.
There's Professor now, old Professor Phi Beta Kappa Bailey, all-American.
Well, if it isn't old George Geographic Explorer Bailey. What, no husky dogs, no sled? Uncle Billy, you haven't changed a bit.
Nobody ever changes around here. You know that.
Oh, I'm glad to see you.
Say, where's Mother?
She's home cooking the fatted calf. Come on, let's go.
Oh, wait a minute.
Here's Ruth. She's with Harry.
Hello.
How do you do?
Ruth Dakin.
Ruth Dakin Bailey, if you don't mind.
Huh?
Well, I wired you out a surprise. Here she is. Meet the wife.
What? Well, what do you know? Wife.
Oh, how do you do? Congratulations. Congratulations! What am I doing? Harry, why didn't you tell somebody? What's a pretty girl like you doing marrying this two-headed brother of mine?
Well, I'll tell you, it's purely mercenary. My father offered him a job.
Uh-oh.
Excuse me?
He gets you a job. Well, Harry's cup runneth over.
George, about that job, Ruth spoke out of turn. I never said I'd take it. You've been holding the bag here for 4 years, and I won't let you down, George. I would like... Okay, wait a minute. I forgot the bags. I'll be right back.
He runs out. George slowly moves over under Billy and Ruth. He's thinking deeply.
It was a surprise to me. This is the new Mrs. Bailey, my nephew's wife. Old friend of the family.
Oh, of course. I've heard him speak of you.
And I want to tell you, we're going to give the biggest party this town ever saw.
George comes. Ruth detaches herself.
Here, have some popcorn. George. That's all Harry ever talks about.
Ruth is, what about this job?
Oh, well, my father owns a glass factory in Buffalo. He wants to get Harry started in the research business.
Is it a good job?
Oh, yes, very. Not much money, but a good future, you know. Harry's a genius at research. My father fell in love with him.
Drink on money.
Drink. You did too.
Cousin Eustace is taking a photograph of the family group assembled on the porch at the Bailey home. Flashbulbs go off and the group breaks up. The crowd enters the front door of the house, leaving George and Uncle Billy on the porch. Uncle Billy is tipsy.
Oh boy. I feel so good I could spit in Potter's eye. I think I will. What do you say, huh? Oh, maybe I'd better go home. Hey, where's my hat? Where's my...
Gives it to him. It's on his head.
Thank you, George. Which one is mine?
It's the middle one.
Oh, thank you, George. Thank you, George, old boy. Now look, if you point me in the right direction, would you do that, George?
Right down here.
Oh, building and loan, pal, huh?
Now you just turn this way and you go right straight down.
That way, huh?
He staggers away singing My Wild Irish Rose.
My Wild Irish Rose.
Crash into some cans.
I'm all right. Sweetest flower that grows.
George is standing at the garden gate. He takes some travel folders from his pocket, looks at him, and throws them away. He's obviously disturbed. His mother comes out of the house and kisses him.
Hello, Mom.
That's for nothing. How do you like her?
There's Harry and Ruth among a crowd of other couples dancing to the music of the old phonograph.
She's swell.
It looks like she can keep Harry on his toes.
Keep him on his out of Bedford Falls anyway.
Did you know that Mary Hatch is back from school?
Uh-huh.
Came back 3 days ago. Nice girl, Mary. Kind that will help you find the answers, George. Oh, stop that grunting. Can you give me one good reason why you shouldn't call on Mary?
Sure. Sam Wainwright. Yes. Sam's crazy about Mary.
Well, she's not crazy about him.
How do you know? Did she discuss it with you?
No.
Well, then how do you know?
Well, I've got eyes, haven't I? Why, she lights up like a firefly whenever you're around.
Oh.
Besides, Sam Wainwright's away in New York. You're here in Bedford Falls.
And all's fair in love and war.
Well, I don't know about war.
Mother, you know, I can see right through you, right back to your back collar button, trying to get rid of me, huh?
Uh-huh.
Well, here's your hat.
They kiss.
Well, here's your hat. What's your hurry? All right, Mother, old building and loan pal. I think I'll go out and find a girl and do a little passionate necking.
Oh, George.
Now, if you'll just point me in the right direction. This direction? Good night, Miss Bailey.
Main Street, Bedford Falls. George is standing in the middle of the street, hands in his pockets as the girl passes. He turns and watches her for a moment. Obviously undecided as what he wants to do. At the beauty shop, Violet is locking up for the night. A couple of men are crowding around her, each one bent on taking her out. There's laughter, kidding, pawing. She looks up and sees George.
Excuse me.
Now, wait a minute.
Think I got a date, but stick around, fellows, just in case, huh?
We'll wait for you, baby.
Holy cow.
Always so desperate. Hello, Georgie Porgy.
Oh, bye.
Looks her over. She takes her beauty shop seriously, and she's an eyeful.
What gives?
Nothing.
Where are you going?
I'll probably end up down at the library.
George, don't you ever get tired of just reading about things?
Her eyes are seductive and guileful.
Yes. What are you doing tonight?
Not a thing.
Are you game, bye? Let's make a night of it.
Oh, I'd love it, Georgie. What do we do?
Let's go out in the field and take off our shoes and walk through the grass.
Huh?
And then we can go up to the falls. It's beautiful up there in the moonlight. There's a green pool up there, and we can swim in it. We can climb Mount Bedford and smell the pines and watch the sunrise against the peaks. And we'll stay up there the whole night, and everybody will be talking, and there'll be a terrific scandal.
George, have you gone crazy? Walk in the grass in my bare feet? What? It's 10 miles up to Mount Bedford.
Shh.
You think just because you...
A small crowd is gathered. Violet is angry.
Okay, just forget about the whole thing.
Residential street. George is walking slowly past the Hatch home, staring meditatively at the simple dwelling. Starts walking ahead. He walks past the house and then turns back again. Mary is looking out the window, watching George walk back and forth.
What are you doing? Picketing?
Hello, Mary. Just happened to be passing by.
Yeah, so I noticed. Have you made up your mind?
How's that?
Have you made up your mind?
About what?
About coming in? Your mother just phoned and said you were on your way over to pay me a visit.
Oh, Mom.
The mother just called. Well, how'd she know?
Didn't you tell her?
I didn't tell anybody. I just went for a walk and happened to be passing by.
But Mary has disappeared from the window because she's a ghost.
What do you went for a walk, that's all?
She runs down the stairs.
I'll be downstairs, Mother.
All right, dear.
Mary looks in the mirror at the bottom of the stairs and fixes her hair. She is plainly excited at George's visit. It is a caricature of George throwing a lasso around the moon. Lettering on the drawing says, George lassos the moon. Mary runs into the hall, opens the phonograph, and puts on a record of Buffalo Gals. Then she opens the front door and stands there waiting for George. George is struggling with the gate and finally kicks it open and starts slowly up the path towards Mary.
Well, are you coming in or aren't you?
I'll come in for a minute, but I didn't tell anybody I was coming over here. When'd you get back?
Tuesday.
Where'd you get that dress?
Do you like it?
That's all right. Thought you'd go back to New York like Sam and Ingy, and the rest of them.
Drink. I worked there for a couple of vacations, but I don't know. I guess I was homesick.
Homesick for Bedford Falls?
Yes, and my family and everything. Would you like to sit down?
All right, for a minute. Still can't understand it though. You know, I didn't tell anybody I was coming here.
Would you rather leave?
No, I don't want to be rude.
Well, then sit down.
Some joke, huh?
He says at the cartoon on the easel. George and Mary sitting on the divan. He is uncomfortable, and she tries desperately to keep the conversation alive.
Well, it still smells like pine needles in here.
Thank you.
And I guess they decide it's time to sing.
And dance by the light of the moon.
What's the matter? Oh, yeah.
Looks at his watch.
Well,
It was nice about your brother Harry and Ruth, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. That's all right.
Don't you like her?
Well, of course I like her. She's a peach.
Oh, it's just marriage in general you're not enthusiastic about.
No, marriage is all right for Harry and Marty and Sam and you.
Mrs. Hatch, in a bathrobe and with her hair in curlers, is leaning over the banister as she calls.
Mary!
George and Mary seated on the divan.
Who's down there with you?
It's George Bailey, Mother.
It's George Bailey? What's he want?
I don't know. What do you want?
Me? Not a thing. I just came in to get warm.
He's making violent love to me, Mother.
Doubtful. You tell him to go right back home, and you don't leave the house either. Sam Wainwright promised to call you from New York tonight.
But your mother needn't, I didn't come here to...
What did you come here for, George?
I don't know. You tell me. You're supposed to be the one that has all the answers. You tell me.
Oh, why don't you just go home?
Well, that's where I'm going. I don't know why I came here in the first place. Good night.
The telephone starts ringing.
Good night.
Mary! The telephone! It's Sam.
I'll get it.
As Mary comes into the hall, she stops the phonograph, takes the record off with a jerk, and smashes it against the machine.
Mary! He's waiting.
Hello?
Forgot my hat.
Hee-haw! Hello, Sam. How are you?
Drink on, hee-haw.
Got
it. Great. Gee, it's good to hear your voice again.
Oh, well, that's awfully sweet of you, Sam. There's an old friend of yours here, George Bailey.
You mean old Mossback George?
Yes, old Mossback George.
Drink.
Put him on.
Wait a minute. I'll call him. George.
He doesn't want to speak to George, you idiot.
He does so. He asked for him. George! Sam wants to speak to you.
Hello, Sam.
Sam's at his desk, couple of friends, highballs in hand.
Well, George Baileyovsky. Hey, a fine pal you are. What are you trying to do? Steal my girl?
What do you mean? Nobody's trying to steal your girl. Here's Mary.
No, wait a minute. I want to talk to both of you. Tell Mary to get on the extension.
Here, you take it. You tell him.
Mother's on the extension.
She hears this and hangs up.
All right, we both can hear. Come here.
They listen.
We're listening, Sam.
I have a big deal coming up that's going to make us all rich. George, you remember the night at Martini's bar when you told me you read something about soybeans, making plastic out of soybeans?
Of course I do. That was 8 years ago. Yeah. Soybeans.
Well, Dad snapped up the idea. He's going to build a factory outside of Rochester. How do you like that?
Rochester? Well, why Rochester?
Well, why not? Can you think of anything better?
Oh, I don't know. Why not right here? You remember that old tool and machinery works? You tell your father he can get that for a song. And all the labor he wants, too. Half the town is thrown out of work when they close down.
That's so. Well, I'll tell him. Hey, that sounds great. Oh, baby, I knew you'd come through. Now, here's the point. Mary, you're in on this too. Now listen, have you got any money?
Money? Yeah, a little.
Double drink.
Well,
Oh, money.
well, now listen. I want you to put every cent you've got into our stock. You hear? And George, I may have a job for you. That is, unless you're still married to that little broken down building and loan. This is the biggest thing since radio. And I'm letting you in on the ground floor. Oh, Mary.
I'm here.
Would you tell that guy I'm giving him the chance of a lifetime? You hear? The chance of a lifetime.
He says it's a chance of a lifetime.
He drops the phone with a crash and grabs Mary by the shoulders and shakes her violently, like Gower shaked him.
You listen to me. I don't want any plastics. I don't want any ground floors, and I don't want to get married ever to anyone. You understand that? I want to do what I want to do. And you're.
He pulls her to a fierce embrace. Two meant for each other find themselves in tearful ecstasy.
Oh, Mary.
George.
Mary.
Mrs. Hatch is at the top of the stairs, and she practically faints at what she sees. At the Bailey home, Cousin Tilly's face fills the screen as she cries.
You're muted.
Yeah,
That was great.
That was awesome.
That was perfect.
They're getting married, y'all. There's Mrs. Bailey and Annie, the maid.
First Harry, now George. Annie, we're just two old maids now.
You speak for yourself, Mrs. B.
George and Mary are in each other's arms.
If either of you two see a stranger around here, it's me.
Hey, look. Somebody's driving this cab.
Ernie reaches over and hands George a bottle of champagne.
Bert, the cop, sent us over. He said to float away to Happy Land in the bubbles.
Oh, look at this. Champagne.
Good old Bert.
By the way, where are you two going on this here now honeymoon?
Where are we going? Look at this. Here, there's the kitty, Ernie. Here, come on. Count it, Mary.
I feel like a bootlegger's wife. Look.
You know what we're going to do? We're going to shoot the works. A whole week in New York, a whole week in Bermuda, the highest hotels, the old champagne, the richest caviar, the hottest music, and the prettiest wife.
Oof, that does it. Then what?
Then what, honey?
After that, who cares?
That does it. Come here.
Cab passes the bank, and Ernie sees a crowd of people around the door, stopping the cab, scurrying people under umbrellas, swarming around the bank doors. Panic is in the air.
Don't look now, but there's something funny going on here at the bank, George. I've never really seen one, but that's got all the earmarks of a run.
Hey, Ernie, if you got any money in the bank, you better hurry.
George, let's not stop. Let's go.
Just a minute, dear. Oh.
Please, let's not stop,
I'll
George.
be back in a minute, Mary.
An iron grill blocks the street entrance to the building and loan. It's been locked. A crowd of men and women are waiting around. George comes in with an assumed cheerful manner. The people look at him silently.
Hello, everybody. Miss Thompson, how are you? Charlie? What's the matter here? Can't you get in?
No one answers. He quietly unlocks the grill door and pushes it open, followed by the crowd. Uncle Billy is standing in the doorway to his private office, taking a drink from a bottle.
Thanks, Uncle Billy. God. What is this, Uncle Billy? A holiday?
George.
Come on in, everybody. That's right. Just come in.
They do.
Look, why don't you all sit down? There are a lot of seats over there. Just make yourselves at home.
George, can I see you a minute?
People ignore George and remain standing in front of the teller's window. They all have their passbooks out. George hurries into his office where Uncle Billy is waiting.
Why didn't you call me?
I just did, but they said you left. Oh, this is a pickle, George. This is a real pickle.
All right, now what happened? How did it start?
Well, how does anything like this ever start, you know? All I know is the bank called our loan.
When?
About an hour ago. I had to hand over all our cash.
All of it?
Every cent of it. And it still was less than we owe.
Holy mackerel.
Oh, and then I got scared, George, and I closed the doors.
The whole town's gone crazy.
Yes, hello. George, it's Potter.
Hello?
Potter's library. Potter is seated behind his desk, his goon alongside him. Standing in front of the desk is a distinguished-looking man, obviously the president of the bank. He is mopping his brow with his handkerchief.
George, there's a rumor around town that you close your doors. Is that true? Oh, well, I'm very glad to hear that, George. Are you all right? Do you need any police?
Police? What for?
Well, you know, mobs can get pretty ugly sometimes, you know, George. I'm going all out to help in this crisis. I've just guaranteed the bank sufficient funds to meet their needs. They'll close up for a week and then reopen.
He just took over the bank.
I may lose a fortune, but I'm willing to guarantee your people too. Just tell them to bring their shares over here and I'll pay them 50 cents on the dollar.
Nah, you never miss a trick, do you, Potter? Well, you're going to miss this one.
If you close your doors before 6 p.m., you will never reopen.
George hangs up.
George, was it a nice wedding? Gosh, I wanted to be there.
Yeah. You can take this one off now.
More angry voices. He greets the swarm.
Now, just remember that this thing is as black as it appears. It's not as black as it appears. Sorry.
Drink up then, son.
I have some news for you, folks. I just talked to old man Potter, and he's guaranteed cash payments at the bank. The bank's going to reopen next week.
George, I got my money here.
Oh, drink.
Oh,
Money.
And Charlie says,
Charlie.
Can you guarantee this place?
Well, no, Charlie. I'm glad you took the time to ask. I didn't even ask him. He didn't need Potter over here.
Mary and Ernie have come in.
I'll take mine now.
No, but you're thinking this place all wrong. As if I had the money back in the safe. The money's not here. Your money's in Joe's house, right next to yours, and in the Kennedy house, and Miss Macklin's house, and 100 others. Well, you're lending them the money to build, and then they're going to pay it back to you as best they can. Now, what are you going to do? Foreclose on them?
That's 4.
Oh, man.
There we go.
It's a good thing this movie's not about money or Christmas.
You're welcome. Ho, ho, ho.
Oh my gosh, that was my favorite swig.
It seems like you want to say something, Tom. What do you want to say? I see your eyes there.
Who is Tom? Okay, I've got $242 in here, and $242 isn't going to break anybody.
Oh, okay, Tom. I'm glad you spoke up. All right, well, here you are.
Tom now.
You sign this, so you'll get your money in 60 days.
Drink. 60 days?
Well, that's what you agreed to when you bought your shares.
Commotion at the door. Randall comes in.
Randall?
Tom, did you get your money?
No.
Well, I did. Old man Potter will pay 50 cents on the dollar for every share you got. Yes, cash.
Well, what do you say?
Now, Tom, you have to stick to your original agreement. Now, give us 60 days on this.
Okay, Randall.
Are you going to go to Potter's?
Better get half than nothing.
George vaults over the counter quickly.
Tom, Randall, now wait. You listen to me. I beg you not to do this thing. Or if Potter gets a hold of this building and loan, there'll never be another decent house built in this town. He's already got charge of the bank. He's got the bus line. He's got the department stores. Now he's after us. Why? Well, it's very simple. Because we're cutting in on his business, that's why. And because he wants to keep you living in his slums and paying the kind of rent he decides.
George is making an impression.
Joe, you lived in one of his houses, didn't you? Well, have you forgotten? Have you forgotten what he charged you for that broken down shack? Here, Ed, Ed, you remember last year when things weren't going so well and you couldn't make your payments. I just told everybody about that. You didn't lose your house, did you? Do you think Potter would have let you keep it? Can't you understand that's what's happening here? Don't you see that what's happening? Potter isn't selling. Potter's buying. And why? Because you're panicky and he's not. That's why. He's picking up some bargains. Now we can get through this thing, all right? We've got to stick together, though. We got to have faith in each other.
My husband hasn't worked in over a year, and I need the money.
Money.
How am I going to live until the bank opens?
I got doctor bills to pay.
I need cash.
Feed my kids on faith.
During this scene, Mary has come up behind the counter, and suddenly, as the people once more start moving towards the door, she holds up a roll of bills.
How much do you need?
Well, hey, I got $2,000. Here's $2,000. This will tide us over until the banks reopen. All right, Tom. Now, how much do you need?
$242.
Oh, Tom, don't be an asshole. Just enough to tide you over until the bank closes.
I'll take $242.
George counts it out for him.
Oh, wine.
There you are.
That'll close my account.
Your clown's still here. That's a loan.
Mary turns and slips out through the crowd, followed by Ernie. George hands the $242 to Tom and speaks to Ed.
Okay, all right, Ed.
I got $300 here, George.
Oh, now, Ed. What'll it take to get the bank reopened? What do you need?
Well, I suppose $20.
$20. Now you're talking. Fine. Thanks, Ed. All right. Now, Mrs. Thompson, how much do you want?
But it's your own money, George.
Never you mind that. How much do you want?
You're a sweet boy. I can get along with 20, all right?
$20.
And I'll sign a paper.
Now, you don't have to sign a thing. I know you'll pay it back when you can. That's okay. All right, Miss Davis.
Could I have $17.50?
Oh, God. God, woman. Of course you can have it. You got 50 cents, 7.
George, Uncle Billy, and Cousin Tilly are behind the counter watching the minute hand of a clock on the wall as George recounts off the seconds. Cousin Eustace is ready to close the door.
We're going to make it, George. They'll never close us up today.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bingo! Woo! We made it. Look, we're still in business. We've still got $2 left.
And Uncle Billy is taking a drink because he's an alcoholic.
Well, let's have some of that. Get some glasses, Cousin Tilly. We're a couple of financial wizards.
Oh, the Rockefellers.
Get a tray for these 2 big, important simoleons.
We'll save them for seed. A toast.
A toast to Papa Dollar and to Mama Dollar. And if you want the old building and loan to stay in business, you better have a family real quick.
I wish they were rabbits.
I wish they were too. Okay, let's put them in the safe and see what happens.
George comes out of the safe door.
The safe door.
I've got wedding cigars for everyone.
Oh, wedding. Holy mackerel, I'm married. Where's Mary? Mary! Poor Mary. Look, I've got a train to catch. Well, no. Train's gone. Ernie's still here with his taxi cab.
Ring, ring.
George, there's a call for you.
Look, will you get my wife on the phone? She's probably over at her mother's.
Mrs. Bailey is on the phone.
Well, I don't want Mrs. Bailey. I want my wife. Mrs. Bailey! Oh, that's my wife. Here, I'll take it in here. Mary, hello? Listen, dear, I'm sorry. What, come home. Come home? What home? 320 Sycamore. I should drink during that. I messed up.
Yeah.
Well, what? Whose home is that? The Waldorf Hotel, huh?
We're at the old Granville house, an old
Billy
fashioned.
Ray.
Huh?
This is the midpoint of the movie. Might be a good time to talk about the charity again.
Oh, you know what, Clay? That's a wonderful idea. If you haven't yet, or if you feel so encouraged to do so, make a donation to Toys for Tots. You can do so by visiting our website, scriptsgonewild.com. Click on that donate tab. It'll take you directly to their portal. I've also been posting it throughout the chat, so you can just click on that link and it'll take you right there as well. You can donate as much money as you want. And you know what? If you donate, let's say, more than $100 and you send me a screenshot that you donated more than $100, I'm going to make Clay do 3 shots in a row.
I don't. Oh, all right. Yeah, fine, I guess. Yes, fine.
It's for Toys for Tots, Clay.
Yes, for sure.
It's for the children.
I have a half day of work tomorrow, Billy Ray. I can't get too
Okay. 2.5 shots.
Okay, all right.
2.5 shots. Only if I get screenshot proof. Back to the action. Oh, it's the old Granville house. It's the oldest shit of house that they bought now.
Wait,
The man working in the rain or sorting through travel posters now.
Hang on. My whole system just fell down.
Oh, God.
Help. All right. Whoops. Wow. Okay. This is troublesome. Okay. We got this. Okay. Whew. All right.
I think I'm man and Bert. Can someone read man for me?
Hey, I'll read, man.
Yeah.
It's Paul Lind. Hey, this is the company's posters, and the company won't like this.
How would you like to get a ticket next week? Haven't you any romance in you?
Sure I have, but I got rid of it.
Liver pills. Who wants to see liver pills on their honeymoon? What? They want romantic places, beautiful places, places George wants to go.
Woo-woo.
Hey, Bert, here he comes.
Come on, we got to get this thing up. He's coming.
Who?
The groom, idiot. Come on, get that ladder.
What are they? Ducks? Bert and the man are putting on travel posters to cover the broken windows.
Get that ladder up here.
All right, all right.
Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up.
I'm hurrying. George is approaching the front door of the house on which the sign is hanging bridal suite. Ernie looks out through the curtain covering the broken glass of the front door.
Hiya. Good evening, sir.
Ernie opens the door, revealing himself as a homemade butler. This has been accomplished by rolling up his pants and putting on an old coachman's hat. George enters.
Entree, monsieur. Entree.
The house is carpetless, empty. It's a big old pile of shit. 2 small chickens are impaled on a spit over the fireplace. It's real rustic, y'all. There's a cheap bed.
Welcome home, Mr. Bailey.
Well, I'll be. Mary, where did you?
They rush into each other's arms and hold each other in ecstasy. Bert and Ernie, standing in the pouring rain, start singing "I Love You Truly."
I love you.
Oh, Mary.
Remember the night we broke the window in this old house? This is what I wished for.
Darling, you're wonderful.
They finish their song and Ernie kisses Bert on the forehead, and we know what that means. Bert slams Ernie's hat on his head. Slum Street, Bedford Falls. In front of one of the miserable shacks that line the streets are 2 vehicles. One of them is George Bailey's rickety car, and the other is even more rickety truck piled high with household goods. The Martini family is moving. The family consists of Martini, his wife, and 4 kids of various ages from 2 to 10. George and Mary are helping them move. About a dozen neighbors crowd around. Martini and George, assisted by 3 of the Martini children, are carrying out the last of the furniture. As they emerge from the house, one of the neighbors, Schultz, calls out,
Martini, you rented a new house?
Rent. You hear what he say, Mr. Bailey?
What's that?
I own the house. Me, Giuseppe Martini. I own my own house. No more we live like pigs in this potter's field. Hardy Maria. Bad.
It's Maria.
Yes.
Bring the baby. We'll bring the kids in the car.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Bailey.
Mary gets in the front seat.
All right, kids, here, get in here. Now get right up on the seat there. Get the goat.
Goodbye, everybody.
Oh,
That portion of the script was brought to you by our sponsors at Chef Boyardee. Bailey Park. It says, welcome to Bailey Park. George's car and the old truck laden with furniture as they pass, just like the Beverly Hillbillies. We hear Martini's voice singing, "Oh, sole mio." Bailey Park is a district of new small houses, not all alike, but each individual. New lawns here and there. It's the suburbs. George and Mary are on the porch of the new house with the Martinis lined up before them.
Mr. and Mrs. Martini, welcome home.
Sam Wainwright is standing in front of his big black town car. Sam is the epitome of successful, up-and-coming businessman. His wife in the car is very attractive, sophisticated-looking lady, dripping with jewels and furs. Sam is watching George cross the street.
Sam Wainwright?
That old George, he's always making a speech. Hee-haw!
Drake!
Sam Wainwright?
Oh, who cares? Bread, that this house may never know hunger. Salt, that life may always have flavor.
And wine, that joy and prosperity may reign forever. Enter the Martini Castle.
The Martinis cross themselves, shaking hands all around. The kids enter with screams of delight. Mrs. Martini kisses Mary. At Potter's office in the bank, Potter, seated in his wheelchair at his desk with his goon beside him, his rent collector, Reineman, is talking, pointing to maps spread out on the desk.
Look, Mr. Potter, it's no skin off my nose. I'm just your little rent collector. But you can't laugh off this Bailey Park anymore. Look at it.
Congressman Blass is here to see you.
Oh, tell the congressman to wait. Go on.
15 years ago, a half dozen houses stuck here and there. There's the old cemetery, squirrels, buttercups, daisies. Used to hunt rabbits there myself. Look at it today. Dozens of the prettiest little homes you ever saw. 90% owned by suckers who used to pay rent to you. Your Potter's Field, my dear Mr. Employer, is becoming just that. And are the local yokels making with those David and Goliath wisecracks?
Oh, they are they? Even though they know that the Baileys haven't made a dime out of it.
You know very well why. The Baileys were all chumps. Every one of these homes is worth twice what it cost the building alone to build. If I were you, Mr. Potter...
Well, you are not me.
As I say, it's no skin off my nose. But one of these days, this bright young man is going to be asking George Bailey for a job.
He exits.
The Bailey family's been a boil on my neck long enough.
Yes, sir.
Come in here.
George and Mary are talking to Sam Wainwright in the Bailey Park in front of the latter's car. His wife, Jane, is now out of the car.
We just stopped in town to take a look at the new factory. Then we're going to drive on down to Florida.
Oh. Oh.
Why don't you have your friends join us?
Why, sure. Hey, why don't you kids drive down with us, huh?
Oh, I'm afraid I couldn't get away, Sam.
Still got the nose of the old grindstone, eh? Jane, I offered to let George in on the ground floor in plastics. He turned me down cold.
Oh, no, don't you rub it in.
I'm not rubbing it in. Well, I guess we'd better run along.
Handshaking.
Awfully glad to have met you, Mary.
Oh, nice meeting you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, George.
So long, George. See you in the funny papers.
Goodbye, Sam.
Good night, John boy. Good night.
Have fun.
Thanks for dropping around.
To Florida. Hee-haw!
Two hee-haws, double drink. The big black limousine glides away. In Potter's office, Potter is lighting a big cigar, which he has just given to George. The goon is beside Potter's chair, as usual.
Sir, quite a cigar, Mr. Potter.
You like it? I'll send you a box.
Well, I suppose I'll find out sooner or later, but just what exactly did you want to see me about?
George, now that's just what I like so much about you. George, I'm an old man and most people hate me, but I don't like them either, so it makes it all even. You know just as well as I do that I run practically everything in this town but the Bailey Building and Loan. You know also that for a number of years I've been trying to get control of it or kill it, but I haven't been able to do it. You've been stopping me. In fact, you've beaten me, George, and as anyone in this county can tell you, that takes some doing. Take during the Depression, for instance. You and I are the only ones that kept our heads. You saved the building and loan. I saved all the rest.
Yes, well, most people say you stole all the rest.
The envious ones say that, George, the suckers. Now, I've stated my side pretty frankly. Now, let's look at your side. Young man, 27, 28, married, making, say, 40 a week?
45.
45. Out of which, after supporting your mother and paying your bills, you're able to keep, say, 10, if you skimp. Child or two comes along, and you won't even be able to save the 10. Now, if this young man of 28 was a common, ordinary yokel, I'd say he's doing fine. But George Bailey is not a common, ordinary yokel. He's an intelligent, smart, ambitious young man who hates his job, who hates the building and loan almost as much as I do. A young man who's been trying to get out of this town ever since he was born. A young man, the smartest one in the crowd, mind you. A young man who has to sit by and watch his friends go places because he is trapped. Yes, sir. Trapped into frittering his life away playing nursemaid to a lot of garlic eaters. Do I paint a correct picture or do I exaggerate?
What's your point, Mr. Potter?
My point? My point is, I want to hire you.
Hire me?
I want you to manage my affairs, run my properties. George, I'll start you off with $20,000 a year.
He dropped the cigar in his lap.
$20,000 a year?
You wouldn't mind living in the nicest house in town, buying your wife a lot of fine clothes, a couple of business trips to New York a year, maybe once in a while Europe. You wouldn't mind that, would you, George?
Would I? You're not talking about somebody else around here, are you? You know, this is me. You remember me, George Bailey?
Oh, yes, George Bailey, whose ship has just come in, provided he has the brains to climb aboard.
What about the building and loan?
Oh, confounded man, are you afraid of success? I'm offering you a 3-year contract at $20,000 a year starting today. Is it a deal or isn't it?
Well, Mr. Potter, I know I'd jump at the chance, but I wonder if it'd be possible for you to give me 24 hours to think it over.
Sure. You go on and home and talk about it with your wife.
I'd like to do that.
In the meantime, I'll draw up the papers.
All right, sir.
Okay, George?
Okay, Mr. Potter.
They shake hands. Potter's hand feels like a cold mackerel. In that physical contact, he knows that something's fucking wrong.
No. Wait a minute here. I don't have to talk to anybody. I know right now. And the answer is no. Doggone it. You sit around here and you spin your little webs and you think your whole world revolves around you and your money. Well, it doesn't, Mr. Potter. In the whole vast configuration of things, I'd say you were nothing but a scurvy little spider, you.
He turns and shouts at the goon.
That goes for you, too.
He talks to the secretary now.
It goes for you, too.
There
And
was
she
a money in
crumbles.
there, Billy Ray.
What now?
Some people out.
There was a money?
There was a money.
Money. George and Mary's house. The room is modestly furnished with just a cheap bed, a chair or two, and a dresser. Mary's asleep in the bed. As George comes in, his head is filled with many confusing thoughts.
You wouldn't mind living in the nicest house in town, buying your wife a lot of fine clothes, going to New York on a business trip a couple times a year, maybe to Europe once in a while.
I feel like we did a cackle there. George takes off his hat and coat, moves over to the dresser, and stares at his reflection in the mirror.
I know what I'm going to do tomorrow, the next day, the next year, and the year after that. I'm shaking the dust off this crummy little town and off my feet. I'm going to see the world. I'm going to build things. I'm going to build airfields. I'm going to build skyscrapers 100 stories high. I'm going to build a bridge a mile long.
That cartoon from earlier, George lassos the moon.
What is it you want, Mary? Oh, damn it. Do we have to do it twice? You want the moon? If you do, just say the word. I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down for you. Come on.
Just
Buffalo
the first time.
gals, won't you come out tonight? Won't you come out tonight? Won't you come out tonight?
George sits on the edge of the bed.
Mary Hatch, why in the world do you ever marry a guy like me?
To keep from being an old maid.
You could have married Sam Wainwright or anybody else in town.
I didn't want to marry anyone else in town. I want my baby to look like you.
But you didn't even have a honeymoon. I promised you. What?
My baby.
You mean, Mary, you're on the nest?
George Bailey lassos a stork.
Lasso's the stork. You mean what is it, a boy or a girl?
Over the following series of shots, we hear the voices of Joseph and Clarence in heaven. George is crossing the street.
Now, you've probably already guessed that George never leaves Bedford Falls.
No.
Hospital.
Mary had her baby, a boy.
Sitting room.
Then she had another one, a girl.
Granville House.
Like rabbits, those two.
Day after day, she worked away, remaking the old Granville house into a home.
George looks tired.
Night after night, George came back late from the office. Potter was bearing down hard.
Recruiting camps.
Then came a war.
Red Cross uniforms busily sewing.
Ma Bailey and Mrs. Hatch joined the Red Cross and sewed.
Railroad station.
Mary had 2 more babies, but still found time to run the USO.
Factory.
Sam Wainwright made a fortune in plastic hoods for planes.
Potter is wheeled in towards a long table.
Potter became head of the draft board.
1A, 1A, 1A.
Street in Bedford Falls, Gower and Uncle Billy are conducting a bond rally.
Gower and Uncle Billy sold war bonds.
Battlefield, Bert in uniform moving cautiously with fixed bayonet.
Bert the cop was wounded in North Africa, got the Silver Star.
Hundreds of planes flying overhead.
Ernie, the taxi driver, parachuted into France.
The Remagen Bridge over the Rhine.
Marty helped capture the Remagen Bridge.
Aircraft carrier, Harry's there.
Harry Bailey topped them all. A Navy flyer, he shot down 15 planes.
A flaming plane crashes into the sea.
2 of them as they were about to crash into a transport full of soldiers.
Wow, that was a hell of a montage. But what about George?
Ration station. George behind the counter is trying to quiet a group of people.
George, 4F down of his ear. George fought the Battle of Bedford Falls. Why do I say that? That's weird. Hold on now. Don't you know there's a war on?
Air raid warden.
A man beside a lighted window pulls open the shade as George blows his whistle. George is helping load his old car with scrap paper.
Paper drives.
At the dump.
Scrap drives.
Children wheeling old tires.
Rubber drives.
People praying in church.
Like everybody else, on VE Day, he wept and prayed.
People entering church.
On VJ Day, he wept and prayed again.
Joseph, now show him what happened today.
Yes, sir.
George is walking along the sidewalk reading a paper, and it is a raw, gusty day, and his overcoat and muffler flap in the breeze. Draped one arm is a large Christmas wreath. Under his other arm are several more copies of the paper.
This morning, day before Christmas.
Christmas again.
About 10 a.m. Bedford Falls time.
Christmas.
Oh.
Oh, it is.
Hey, Ernie. Look at that.
The front page of the paper, the Bedford Falls Sentinel. The headline reads, President decorates Harry Bailey. Local boy wins Congressional Medal of Honor. The subhead tells of a plan for a giant Jubilee and parade to be followed by a banquet in honor of Commander Harry Bailey, USN, on his way home from Washington after receiving the Congressional Medal of Honor. There's a large picture of President Truman pinning the coveted medal on Harry's bosom in the midst of dignitaries. A picture of the transport which Harry saved. Practically the whole front page is devoted to the story.
Gonna snow again.
It's gonna snow again. Look at the headlines.
I know. I think it's marvelous.
Gower comes around and starts beating George.
Commander Harry Bailey. Mr. Gower, look at this. The second page. Look, this is for this is for you. This is for you. This is for you. What? Oh, this is for you. I'm handing out papers. This is for you. This is for you. This is for you. See you again.
Uncle Billy is walking along the street, humming happily to himself. He sees some men decorating the courthouse with banners and bunting. There is this huge sign, Welcome home, Harry Bailey.
Be sure you didn't spell the name right.
The offices are unchanged.
Extra, read all about it.
George, it's Harry now on long distance from Washington.
Harry, what do you know about that?
Oh, he's reversed the charges. It's okay, isn't it?
What do you mean it's okay? For a hero? Harry, oh, you old 7 kinds of a son of a gun. Congratulations. How's Mother standing? She did? What do you know? Mother had lunch with the president's wife?
Wait till Martha hears about this.
What do they have to eat?
What do they have to eat? Harry, you should see what they're cooking up for you in the town for you. Oh, are they? The Navy's going to fly Mother home this afternoon.
In a plane?
What? In a car. Uncle Billy come in yet?
No, he stopped at the bank first.
He's not here right now? He's not here right now, Harry.
Cousin Eustace has turned away from George and bought a glimpse of the man in the chair. This is Carter, the bank examiner, come for his annual audit of the books of the building and loan, which can't be affected whatsoever by Uncle Billy going to the bank.
George.
Now tell me about it.
George, that man's here again.
What man?
Bank examiner.
Oh! Oh, that's the rest of my line. I didn't highlight it. Talk to Eustace in a minute, will you? I'll be right back.
He shakes hands with Carter.
Good morning, sir.
Carter, bank examiner.
Mr. Carter, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
That's 2 Merry Christmases.
Oh, man.
But you never ask.
Oh.
Well, we're all excited around here. My brother just got the Congressional Medal of Honor. The president just decorated him.
Well, I guess they do those things. Well, I trust you had a good year.
Good year. Well, between you and me, Mr. Carter, we're broke.
Yeah, very funny.
Well, now come right in here, Mr. Carter.
Oh, I shouldn't wonder when you okay reverse charges on a personal long-distance call.
George, shall we hang up?
No. He wants to talk to Uncle Billy. You just hold on.
Now, if you'll cooperate, I'd like to finish with you by tonight. I want to spend Christmas in Elmira with my family.
I don't blame you at all, Mr. Carter. Just step right in here. We'll fix you up.
In the bank, Uncle Billy is filling out a deposit slip with one of the desks.
December 24th.
He takes a thick envelope from his inside pocket and thumbs through the bills.
8,000.
Door to the street. Potter is being wheeled in by his goon. Various bank officials run over to greet him. He is reading a newspaper. Uncle Billy has finished filling out his slip and comes over to taunt Potter because he's in a wheelchair.
Well, good morning, Mr. Potter. What's the news? Well. Harry Bailey wins congressional medal. That couldn't be one of the Bailey boys now, could it? You just can't keep those Baileys down now, can you, Mr. Potter?
How does Slacker George feel about that?
Oh, very jealous, very jealous. He only lost 3 buttons off his vest. Of course, Slacker George would have gotten 2 of those medals if he had gone.
Bad ear.
Yes.
Uncle Billy folds Potter's paper over the envelope containing his money and flings his final taunt at the old man.
After all, Potter, some people like George had to stay home. Not every heel was in Germany and Japan, and you can't walk.
I can't.
Cold rage. Potter grabs his paper and wheels off towards his office. Uncle Billy smiles triumphantly and goes towards deposit window with his deposit slip.
Good morning, Horace.
Uncle Billy hands the bank book over to Horace, the teller. He opens it, starts to punch it with rubber stamps. And the teller says,
She forgot something.
I guess you forgot something. You forgot something.
What?
Well, aren't you going to make a deposit?
Well, sure I am.
Well, then, it's usually customary to bring the money with you.
Oh, shucks. I
searches through his pockets.
I know I had it here somewhere. I don't know what I...
How about that one there?
Oh, God.
Potter's office. Potter is now behind his desk, spreads the newspaper out, muttering as he does so.
Oh, Bailey.
He sees the envelope and the money inside.
Take me back there. Hurry up. Come on, look sharp.
Potter opens the door and peers out into the bank. Uncle Billy looks around for the money envelope, but it's not there. He looks puzzled, thinks hard, then a look of concern creeps into his eyes. He starts thumping his pockets with increasing panic and looks in the waste paper basket. He finally rushes through the door and out into the street.
Take me back.
The goon wheels him back to his desk, deep in thought. Uncle Billy runs across the street in the direction of the building alone. George coming from the room where he's just left the banking examiner.
Just make yourself at home, Mr. Carter. I'll get those books for you.
Violet Dick is standing there.
Oh, hello, Vi.
George, can I see you for a second?
Well, of course you can. Come on in the office here.
Uncle Billy enters the office.
Uncle Billy, talk to Harry. He's on the telephone.
George and Violet enter his private office.
Hurry, Uncle Billy, hurry. Long distance, Washington.
Hey, he's here, Harry, on the phone.
Harry, your nephew, remember?
Here he is.
Uncle Billy picks up the phone.
Hello? Hello? Yes, Harry, yes, everything's fine.
He hangs up agitated, muttering to himself.
Bitch, I don't know what the fuck that money is. I should have had my head examined. $8,000. It's got to be here somewhere.
George's office. He's finished writing something and slipping the paper in an envelope.
Here you go.
Character. If I had any character,
It takes a lot of character to leave your hometown and start all over again.
He hands her some money from his pocket.
No, George, I don't.
Well, here now, you're broke, aren't you?
I know, but
Well, here now, yeah. What do you want to do? Hawk your furs and that hat? Want to walk to New York? You know, they charge your meals and rent up there, just the same as they do in Bedford Falls.
yeah, sure.
It's a loan. That's my business, building a loan. Besides, you'll get a job. Good luck to you.
I'm glad I know you, George Bailey.
She kisses him on the cheek, leaving lipstick.
Yes.
As George and Violet come through the door, they are being watched by Cousin Tilly, Cousin Eustace, and the bank examiner.
Say hello to New York for me.
Yeah. Yeah, sure, I will.
Now let's hear from you.
He removes the lipstick from his cheek.
What's the matter? Merry Christmas, bye.
Christmas.
Oh,
Yep.
Get bad now.
Merry Christmas, George.
Twice.
Christmas.
She leaves.
Mr. Bailey.
Oh, Mr. Carter, I'm sorry. I'll be right with you. Uncle Billy in?
Yeah, he's in his office.
Comes in and Billy is frantically looking for the missing envelope.
What's going on? The bank examiner's here, and I.
He's here.
Yeah. He wants the accounts payable.
Oh, son of
What's the matter with you?
Well,
Cousin Chili is at her switchboard, and Cousin Eustace standing beside her. Carter is still waiting in the doorway to his office. Suddenly, the door opens, and George comes striding out. He goes directly to the safe and starts searching, but doesn't find the money.
Eustace,
Yeah?
come here a minute. But did you see Uncle Billy with any cash last night?
He had it on his desk, counting it before he closed up.
Uncle Billy and George are retracing the former steps through the snow, looking everywhere for the missing money.
Now look, did you buy anything?
nothing. Not even a stick of gum.
All right. No. We'll go over every step you took since you left the house.
All right. This way.
Potter is staring through the slats of the Venetian blinds, watching them as they go, cackling, probably like this. George and Uncle Billy continue their search. A shabby, old-fashioned gaslit room, which has been turned almost inside and upside down. It's Uncle Billy's place. They're looking. It's crazy, y'all.
Did you put the envelope in your pocket?
Yes, maybe.
Maybe? I don't want any maybe, Uncle Billy. You gotta find that money.
I'm no good to you, George.
Well, listen to me. Do you have any secret hiding place here in the house? Someplace you could have put it? Someplace to hide money.
I've been all over the whole house, even in rooms that have been locked ever since I lost Laura.
Uncle Billy has stopped sobbing. Started sobbing.
You listen to me. You think.
I can't think anymore, George. I can't think anymore. It hurts.
George jerks him to his feet and shakes him just like Mr. Gower did to him and just like he did to Mary. Uncle Billy stands before him like a frisked animal, all his pockets hanging out, pitiful as shit.
Look at me.
Where's that money, you stupid, silly old fool? Where's the money? Money. Do you realize what that means? It means bankruptcy and scandal in prison.
He throws Uncle Billy down the stairs, into a chair, and still.
That's what it means. One of us is going to jail. It's not gonna be me.
George turns and heads.
Hold on, Billy Ray. There were like 5 or 6 monies in the last 2
Yeah,
weeks.
there were.
And then
We
you
need to
said
pay the
throw him
piper.
down the stairs, which is like a double drink at least for
Maybe
you.
we should just do a finish the drink.
I just had an image of him throwing Uncle Billy down the stairs.
This is a Christmas movie?
Let's
All right, Goodfellas style.
Whew. George's living room. 8-year-old Janie is seated at the piano playing Hark the Herald Angels Sing, which she practices during the remainder of this scene. There is a Christmas tree all decorated near the fireplace. It's a house. Tommy's playing with toys, kids.
He's got a creepy mask on.
Yeah.
Hello, darling. Hello, darling.
Hello, Daddy.
Hello, Daddy.
Hi, Daddy.
How do you like it?
George sneezes violently like I just did.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Did you bring the wreath?
Did you bring the Christmas wreath?
What wreath?
The Merry Christmas wreath for the window.
Drink?
I left it at the office.
Is it snowing?
Yeah, it just started.
Well, where's your coat and hat?
Left him at the office.
What's the matter?
Nothing's the matter. Everything's all right.
George slumps into an armchair and lifts Tommy onto his lap. Mary is helping Pete decorate the tree.
Go on, Pete. You're a big boy. You can put the star on top. Way up at the top. That's it. Fill in that little bare spot right there. That's it. Isn't it wonderful about Harry? We're famous, George. I'll bet I had 50 calls today about the parade, the banquet. Your mother's so excited.
Mary starts to realize something is messed up.
Must she keep playing that?
I have to practice for the party tonight, Daddy.
Mommy says we can stay up till midnight and sing Christmas carols. Can you sing, Daddy?
Better hurry and shave. The families will be here soon.
Families? I don't want the families over here.
Come on out in the kitchen with me while I finish dinner.
They exit.
Excuse me, excuse me.
He farted. They go towards the kitchen.
Have a hectic day?
Oh, yeah. Another big red letter day for the Baileys.
Pete.
Good, Daddy. The bronze, fuck. That's a drink, fuck. The daddy. The bronze next door have a new car. You should see it.
What's the matter with our car? Is it good enough for you?
Yes, Daddy. Excuse me. Excuse me.
Hot. So
Excuse you for what?
I burped.
All right, darling. You're excused. Now go upstairs and see what little Zuzu wants.
Zuzu? What's the matter with Zuzu?
Oh, she's got a cold. She's in bed. Got it coming home from school. They gave her a flower for a prize and she didn't want to crush it, so she didn't button up her coat.
What is it? A sore throat or what?
Just a cold. The doctor says it's nothing serious.
Doctor? Doctor was here?
Yes, I called him right away. He says it's nothing to worry about.
Well, is she running a temperature? What is it?
Just a teensy one. 99.6. She'll be all right.
Gosh, it's this old house. I don't know why we don't all have pneumonia. Drafty old barn. Might as well be living in a refrigerator. Why do we have to live here in the first place and stay around this measly, crummy old town?
George, what's wrong?
Wrong? Everything's wrong. You call this a happy family? Why do we have to have all these kids?
George is tripping, man.
Oh my God, George needs a drink.
George is bugging.
It's so sad.
Is that my fucking line
That's
again?
Pete's go.
Oh, fuck! Dad, fuck! Dad, how do you spell frankincense?
Frank.
Ask your mother.
Could have voted for Chad.
Where are you going?
I'm going up to see Zuzu.
This is turned into Kramer versus Kramer.
He told me to write a play for tonight.
Frankin.
The knob on the door handle turns the knob. There's a paragraph about him turning the knob. The sound of JD at the piano can be heard. The same monotonous rhythm over and over again, driving George into madness. Zuzu, age 6, is sitting up in her bed, the lamp burning beside her, wasting all that power. She's holding the prize flower. George tips toes in.
Hi, Daddy.
What happened to you?
I won a flower.
Wait, now, where do you think you're going?
Want to give my flower a drink.
All right. Here, give Daddy the flower. I'll give it a drink.
She shakes her head and presses the flower to her. A few fall off of the petals.
Look, Daddy. Paste it.
Yeah. All right. No. I'll paste this together.
She hands him the fallen petals and the flower. He turns his back to Zuzu, pretending to be tinkering with the flower, all the while seething with a horrendous rage. He sticks the fallen petals in his watch pocket, rearranges the flower, and then turns back to Zuzu.
There it is. Good as new.
Give the flower a drink.
George, seething, puts the flower in a glass of water on the table beside the bed.
Now, will you do something for me?
They whisper.
What?
Will you try to get some sleep? Go to sleep. I know. But you just got to sleep, and then we could dream about it, and it'll be a whole garden.
Wheel.
Uh-huh.
And then Daddy puts her to sleep.
What?
Why did that sound so permanent?
Been there.
He is still pounding with grim determination at the piano. Pete is sitting at the table writing. Tommy's playing with his toy vacuum cleaner. The other 12 kids are somewhere. Ring, ring.
Telephone.
Mary comes in.
I'll get it. Hello? Yes, this is Mrs. Bailey.
George enters.
Oh, thank you, Mrs. Welsh. I'm sure she'll be all right. The doctor says that she ought to be out of bed in time to have her Christmas dinner.
Is that Susan's teacher?
Yes.
Let me speak to her. Hello. Hello, Miss Welch. This is George Bailey. I'm Zuzu's father. Hey, what kind of teacher are you anyway? Hey, what do you mean sending her home like that, half naked? Do you realize she'll probably end up with a pneumonia on account of you?
George.
She puts a restraining hand on his arm. He shakes it off. She cannot know that George's tirade against Miss Welch is really a tirade against the world, against life itself, against God himself.
This is the sort of thing we pay taxes for? To have teachers like you? Silly, stupid, careless people who send our kids home without any clothes on? You know, maybe my kids aren't the best dressed kids. Maybe they don't have any decent clothes. Oh, that's stupid.
Hello, Mrs. Welch. I want to apologize. Hello? Hello?
I'll hang
She's
her
hung up.
I'll hang her up.
Now there's a male voice on the line.
Now, who do you think you are?
You wait a minute. Hello, who is this? Mr. Welch. Okay, that's fine, Mr. Welch. Give me a chance to tell you what I really think of your wife.
George.
Will you get out and let me handle this? Yeah. Hello. What? No. Oh well. Okay, Mr. Welch. Anytime you think you're man enough, we'll fisticuffs this. Well, hello. Any?
Click.
Oh.
Up.
Daddy, how do you spell hallelujah?
What should I know? You should. I don't know. What do you think I am? A dictionary?
Fuck.
Tommy, stop that! Stop it! Danny, haven't you learned that silly tune yet? You played it over and over again. Now stop it! Stop it!
I feel like that was Willie Loman's monologue from Death of a Salesman.
It's rough.
The room has suddenly become ominously quiet. Everybody is shocked. George sees him staring at him.
Awkward.
He kicks over some models. He's angry.
Just stupid.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh God, Mary, Janie, I'm sorry. I didn't mean. You go on. You practice, Pete. I owe you an apology too. I'm sorry. What do you want to know?
Nothing, Daddy.
They stare at him.
What's the matter with everybody? Janie, you go on. I told you to practice. Now go on, you play.
Janie sobs.
Daddy.
George, why must you torture the children? Why don't you?
Mary, I'm sorry.
Bedford, 247, please.
Is Daddy in trouble?
Shall I pray for him?
Yes, Janie. Pray very hard.
Me too?
You too, Tommy. Hello, Uncle Billy.
Threw me down the
He's sitting at his
stairs.
desk, his goon beside him. He is signing some papers. George is seated in a chair before the desk without a hat or a coat, covered lightly with snow.
I'm in trouble, Mr. Potter. I need help. There was some sort of an accident. My company's short in their accounts. The bank examiner's up there today. I got to raise $8,000 immediately.
Oh, that's what the reporters wanted to talk to you about.
Orders?
Yes, they called me up from your building and loan. Oh, there's a man over there from the DA's office, too. He's looking for you.
Please help me, Mr. Potter. Just help me, won't you, please? Can't you see what it means to my family? I'll pay any sort of bonus on the loan, any interest. If you still want the building loan, why,
George, could it possibly be there's a slight discrepancy in the books?
No, sir. There's nothing wrong with the books. I just misplaced $8,000. I can't find it anywhere.
You misplaced $8,000.
Yes, sir.
Have you notified the police?
No, sir. I didn't want the publicity. Harry's coming home tomorrow, and
They're going to believe that one. What have you been doing, George? Playing the market with the company's money?
no, sir. No, I haven't.
What is it then, a woman? You know, it's all over town. You've been giving money to Violet Bick.
What?
Not that it makes any difference to me, but why come to me? Why don't you go to Sam Wainwright and ask him for the money?
I can't hold up. I can't get a hold of him. He's in Europe.
Well, what about all your other friends?
Well, they don't have that kind of money, Mr. Potter. You know that. You're the only one in town that can help me.
I see. I've suddenly become quite important. What kind of security do I have, George? Have you any stocks?
No, sir.
Bonds, real estate, collateral of any kind?
I have some life insurance, a $15,000 policy.
Yes, how much is your equity in it?
$500.
Look at you. You used to be so cocky. You're going to go out and conquer the world. You once called me a warped, frustrated old man. What are you but a warped, frustrated young man? Miserable little clerk crawling in here on your hands and knees and begging for help. No securities, no stocks, no bonds, nothing but a miserable little $500 equity and a life insurance policy. You're worth more dead than alive. Why don't you go off to the riffraff you love so much and ask them where you can have $8,000? You know why? Because they'd run you out of town on a rail. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do for you, George. Since the state manager is still here and there's a stockholder in the building and loan, I'm going to swear out a warrant for your arrest, misappropriation of funds, manipulation, malfeasance.
George turns to go as Potter picks up the phone.
All right, George, go ahead. You can't hide in a little town like this. Bill, this is Potter.
George comes out of the bank into the falling snow, crosses the street, tugs at the door of his old car, finally steps over and drives off. An attractive little roadside tavern with the name Martinis and neon lights on the front wall. The place is an Italian restaurant with a bar. The bottles sparkle. There are Christmas greens and holly decorating the place. It has a warm, welcoming Chef Boyardee-esque spirit, like Martini himself, who is welcoming new arrivals. The booths and the checkered cloth-covered tables are full, and the place smells of sauce.
Merry Christmas. Glad you came.
Oh, here he comes.
How about some of that good spaghetti?
Oh, we got everything.
Nick, the bartender, is watching him solicitously.
Oh, God, dear Father in heaven, I'm not a praying man, but if you're up there and you can hear me, show me the way. I'm at the end of my rope. Show me the way, God.
You're right, George.
No.
Take you home. Why you drink so much, my friend? Please go home, Mr. Bailey. This is Christmas Eve.
Drink. The ugly man next to George, who has been listening, reacts sharply.
Bailey! Which Bailey?
This is Mr. George Bailey.
Without any warning, the burly man throws a vicious punch at George, who goes down and out. Martini, Nick, and several others rush to pick him up.
And the next time you talk to my wife like that, you'll get worse. She cried for an hour. It isn't enough. She's slaves teaching you stupid kids how to read and write. You have to bawl her out.
You get out of here, Mr. Welch!
Mr. Welch reaches in his pocket for money.
Oh, wait. I want to pay for my drink.
Never mind the money. You get out of here quick.
All right.
You hit my best friend. Get out.
Nick and Martini shove Welch out the door, run back to stir the sauce, and then run back to help George to his feet. George's mouth is cut and bleeding.
You're right, George.
Who is that?
He's gone. Don't worry. His name is Welch. He don't come into my place no more.
Oh, Welch. That's what I get for praying.
The last time he come in here, you hear that, Nick? Yes, you bet.
Where's my insurance policy? 'Cause I'm gonna jump off a fucking bridge. Oh, here.
Oh no! Please don't go out. Don't go out this way, Mr. Bailey.
I'm all right.
Oh no! You don't feel so good.
I'm all right.
Please don't go away, please.
George opens the door and exits to the street. George's car comes along the empty street through the falling snow, suddenly swerves and crashes into a tree, the sidewalk of a house. He gets out to look at the damage and savagely kicks at the door.
What do you think you're doing?
George stands unsteadily near the car, shaken by the accident.
Now look what you did, see? My great-grandfather planted this tree.
George staggers down the street.
Hey, you, come back here, you drunken fool. Get this car out of here.
George is crossing the approach to the bridge when a truck swings around the corner and nearly hits him.
Hey, what's the matter with you? Look where you're going.
The truck turns onto the bridge and George takes a narrow catwalk. George is stopped by the railing at the center of the bridge and the snow is falling hard. His ankle to the water, dotted with floating ice passing under the bridge. He stares down, desperate, trying to make up his mind. He leans over, looking, fascinated, glancing furtively around him, hunching himself as about to jump. From above George, a body hurtles past and lands in the water with a loud splash. George looks down, horrified.
Help! Help!
He takes off his coat and dives. He comes up, the man flailing about in the water.
Help! Help me! Help, please!
The toll house keeper, hearing the cries for help, comes running out of the bridge with a flashlight. The man in the water is Clarence, the angel whose voice we've heard from speaking from heaven. George reaches him, grabs a hold, and starts swimming for shore. He's seated before a wood-burning stove now with the toll keeper. He's gloomy and drunk, and there's all sorts of shit going on.
I'm sorry, I didn't have time to get some stylish underwear. My wife gave me this on my last birthday. I passed away in it.
The toll keeper, about to split, is stopped in the middle of it by this remark.
Oh, Tom Sawyer's dying out too. You should read the new book Mark Twain's writing now.
How'd you happen to fall in?
Oh, I didn't fall in. I jumped in to save George.
What? You saved me.
Well, I did, didn't I? I mean, you didn't go through with it, did you?
Go through with what?
Suicide.
It's against the law to commit suicide around here.
Yeah, it's against the law for where I come from, too.
Where do you come from?
Heaven.
To marry on birthday.
I had to quickly. That's why I jumped in. I knew if I were drowning, you tried to save me, and you see you did, and that's how I saved you.
Toll keeper's nervous.
Very funny.
Oh, your lips bleeding, George.
Yeah, I got a busted in the jaw and answered a prayer a little bit ago.
Oh, no. I'm the answer to your prayer. That's why I was sent down here, you see.
How do you know my name?
Oh, I know all about you. I've watched you grow up from a little boy.
What are you, a mind reader or something?
Oh, no.
Well, who are you then?
Clarence Oddbody, AS2.
Oddbody? AS2. What's that AS2?
Angel, second class.
The toll keeper gets the fuck out of Dodge.
Oh, cheerio, my good man.
Oh, brother, I wonder what martini you put in those drinks. Hey, what's with you? Why did you say just a minute ago? Why'd you want to save me?
Well, that's what I was sent down for. I'm your guardian angel.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised.
Ridiculous of you to think of killing yourself for money.
Drink?
Money.
Money?
Thank God.
It's bad.
$8,000.
Yeah, just things like that. How'd you know that?
Oh, I told you. I'm your guardian angel. I know everything about you.
Well, you look about like the kind of angel I'd get. Sort of a fallen angel, aren't you? What happened to your wings?
Oh, I haven't won my wings yet. That's why I'm an angel, second class.
I don't know whether I like it very much being seen around with an angel without wings.
Oh, I've got to earn them, and you'll help me, won't you?
Sure. How?
Well, by letting me help you.
Only one way you can help me. You don't happen to have $8,000, do you?
Oh, no. We don't use money in heaven.
Drink!
Damn it, I keep forgetting. Comes in pretty handy down here, bub.
Oh, tut.
I sounded out a little late. I'm worth more dead than alive.
Now, look, you mustn't talk like that. I won't get my wings with that attitude. You just don't know all that you've done. If it hadn't been for you, George.
Yeah. If it hadn't been for me, everybody'd be a lot better off. My wife and my kids and my friends. Look, little fella, go off and haunt somebody else, will you?
No, you don't understand. You see, I've got my job.
Oh, shut up, will you?
This isn't going to be so easy. So you still think killing yourself would make everyone feel happier, huh?
I don't know. Guess you're right. I don't suppose it would have been better if I'd never been. I suppose it would have been better if I'd never been born. It's an important line.
That's a very important line. You should say it clearly.
We've been sitting here for 2 hours.
I know. Come on, get it together, man.
What did you say, George?
Oh, we're heavily in. What is going on? What was it?
Oh, what did you say, George? Third time?
I said I wish I'd never been born.
Oh, no. Oh, you mustn't say things like that. Oh, wait a minute. Now that is an idea. What do you think? Yeah, that'll do it. All right. You've got your wish. You have never been born.
As Clarence speaks this line, the snow stops falling outside the building. A strong wind springs up, which blows open the door, and Clarence runs to close it.
Oh, you don't have to make all that fuss about it.
What'd you say?
I said you've never been born. You don't exist. You haven't a care in the world. No worries, no obligations, no $8,000 to get, no Potter looking for you with the sheriff.
George indicates his bad ear.
Say something else in the ear.
Sure, you can hear out of it now.
Well, that's a doggonedest thing. I haven't heard a thing out of that ear since I was a kid. Must have been that jump in the cold water.
Your lips stopped bleeding too, George.
It has.
What do you know about that? What's happened? It stopped snowing out, hasn't it? What's happened here? Come on, as soon as these clothes of ours are dry.
Our clothes are dry, George.
What do you know about that? Stove's hotter than I thought. Now, come on, get your clothes on and we'll stroll up to my car and get...
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. That's
no, I'm sorry. My apologies. I'm sorry. I'll stroll, you fly.
Oh, I can't fly. I still haven't gotten any wings.
Oh, you haven't got wings. Yeah, that's right.
On the street where George swerved his car, the car's nowhere to be seen now. The tree is undamaged.
Well, what's the matter, George?
Well, this is where I left my car, and it isn't here.
Wait, you have no car.
Well, I had a car. It was right here. Guess somebody moved it.
That owner from earlier passes.
Good evening.
Oh, say, hey, where's my car?
I beg your pardon?
My car. I'm the fellow that owns the car that ran into your tree.
What tree?
What do you mean, what tree? Perfectly reasonable question. This tree here, I ran into it. Got a big gash in the side of it here.
The owner inspects it.
You must mean the other trees. You had me worried. One of the oldest trees in Pottersville.
Pottersville? Why do you mean Bedford Falls?
I mean Pottersville. Don't you think I know where I live? What's the matter with you?
Oh, I don't know. Either I'm off my nut or he's... Or you
are.
are.
Oh,
you are.
It isn't me. It's still not me.
Clarence!
Clarence! You missed the
All
line.
right. Go on in. Martini's a good friend of mine.
And drink while you're at it.
They're at Nick's bar now. It's not Martini's bar anymore.
That's all right. Go on in. Martini's a good friend of mine. There's a place to sit down. Sit down.
Nick's wiping off the bar.
Oh, hello, Nick. Hey, where's Martini?
Want a martini?
No, Martini, your boss. Where is he?
Look, I'm the boss. You want a drink or don't you?
Okay, all right. Double bourbon. Quick, huh?
Okay. What's yours?
Oh, I was just thinking. It's been so long since I
Look, mister, I'm standing here waiting for you to make up your mind.
Oh, yes, that's a good man. I was just thinking of a flaming rum punch. No, it's not cold enough for that. Not nearly cold enough. Wait a minute. I've got it. Mulled wine. Yes, mulled wine, heavy on the cinnamon and light on the cloves. Off with you, me lad, and be lively about it.
Hey, look, mister. We serve hard drinks in here for men who want to get drunk fast. We don't need any characters around here to give the joint atmosphere. Is that clear? Or I just slip you my left for a convincer.
As he says this, Nick leans over the counter, puts his left fist nearly in Clarence's eye.
What's he talking about?
Nick, just give him the same as mine. He's okay.
Okay.
What's the matter with him? I never saw Nick act like that before.
Oh, you'll see a lot of strange things from now on.
Oh, yeah. Hey, little fella, you worry me. You got someplace to sleep?
No.
You don't, huh? Well, you got any money?
Drink?
Oh, help.
It's getting bad.
No, I don't have any money.
No wonder you jumped in the river.
Well, I jumped in the river to save you so I could get my wings.
Oh, that's right.
A cash register bell rings.
Oh, somebody just made it.
Made what?
Well, every time you hear a bell ring, it means that some angel just got his wings.
Look, I think maybe you better not mention getting your wings around here.
Why? Don't they believe in angels?
Yeah, but, you know.
Well, then why should they be surprised when they see one?
Never grew up. He's, how old are you anyway, Clarence?
293 next May.
That does it! All you two pixies go. Through the door, out the window.
Look, Nick, what's wrong?
And that's another thing. Where do you come off calling me Nick?
Well, Nick, that's your name, isn't it?
What's it got? Fucking shit.
Nick's a foul-mouthed boy.
What's that got to do with it? I don't know where you from. Fuck me, I'm fucking drunk. I don't know you from Adam's off. Hugs. Hey, you Rummy, come here.
Small wreck of a man with weak, watery eyes. Obviously a broken down panhandler, his hat in his hand. He can hardly believe his eyes. It's Mr. Gower, the druggist who assaulted him earlier in this.
Can I tell you never to come panhandling around here?
Nick picks up a seltzer bottle and squirts Gower in the face with it. The crowd laughs brutally. George, horrified, leaps up and goes over to Gower.
Mr. Gower, this is George Bailey. Don't you know me?
Oh, no.
Throw him out.
They throw out Gower out the front door.
Hey, Nick, isn't that Mr. Gower, the druggist?
You know, that's not a reason for me not to like you. That rum had spent 20 years in jail for poisoning a kid. If you know him, you must be a jailbird yourself. Would you show these gentlemen to the door?
Sure. This way, gentlemen.
George and Clarence come flying through the door and land in the snow. Nick's at the cash register, busily ringing a bell.
Hey, get me. I'm giving out wings.
Well, you see, George, you were not there to stop Gower from putting that poison into its vials.
What do you mean I wasn't there? I remember distinctly.
He sees that it's Nick's place and not Martini's.
What the? Hey, what's going on around here? Why, this ought to be Martini's place. Look, who are you?
I've told you, George. I'm your guardian angel.
Yeah, I know. You told me that. What else are you? What? Are you a hypnotist?
No, of course not.
Why am I seeing all these strange things?
Don't you understand, George? It's because you were not born.
If I wasn't born, who am I?
You're nobody. You have no identity.
What do you mean, no identity? My name's George Bailey.
No, there is no George Bailey. You have no papers, no cards, no driver's license, no 4F card, no insurance policy. They're not there either.
What?
Zuzu's pedals. You've been given a great gift, George, a chance to see what the world would be like without you.
Now, wait a minute here. Is this some sort of a funny dream I'm having here? So long, mister. I'm going home.
Home? What home?
Shut up! You just cut it out. You're crazy. That's what I think. You're screwy, and you're driving me crazy too. I'm seeing things. I'm going home and seeing my wife and family. You understand that? I'm going home alone.
George strides off hurriedly.
How am I doing, Joseph? Thanks. Oh no, I didn't have a drink.
Lying fucking angel. Wait. The sign bearing the name of the town reads Pottersville. George looks at it in surprise, then starts up the street towards the main part of town. Where before it was a quiet, orderly small town, it has now become in nature like a frontier village. We see nightclubs, cafes, liquor stores, pool halls, whorehouses, McDonald's. Gower's drugstore is now a CVS, and so on. George stops before what used to be the offices of the building alone. There is a garish electric sign over the entrance reading, "Welcome Jitterbugs." A crowd of people are watching the police who are raiding the place and dragging out a number of screaming women.
Hey, where'd the building alone go move to?
A building and what?
The Bailey building alone. It was up there.
They went out of business years ago.
George sees Violet Bick, arrayed as a tart, being dragged into the patrol wagon.
Hey, Violet. Hey, listen, that's Violet Bick.
I know.
I know that girl.
The cop shoves George to one side.
Hey, Ernie.
Ernie stops his cab and George enters it.
Ernie, take me home. I'm off my nut.
Where do you live?
Now, doggone it, Ernie, don't you start pulling that stuff. You know where I live, 23 Sycamore. Now, hurry up.
Okay. 23 Sycamore.
Yeah, hurry up. Sue's sick.
All right.
They go off. Ernie is puzzled.
Look here, Ernie, straighten me out here. I've got some bad liquor or something. Listen to me now. Now, you are Ernie Bishop, and you live in Bailey Park with your wife and kid. That's right, isn't it?
You seen my wife?
You've seen your wife? I've been to your house 100 times.
Look, well, what's the idea? I live in a shack in Pottersville. My wife ran away 3 years ago and took the kid. And I ain't never seen you before in my life.
Okay. Just step on it. Just get me home.
He's worried as hell. As he passes Bert, he motions for him to follow him. The taxi pulls up to the curb and stops. George gets out.
No, that's the place. Crap, no, I've slid something.
Well, this house ain't been lived in for 20 years.
George is stopped momentarily by the appearance of the house. Windows are broken. It's old as shit. The police car is pulled up beside the cab, and Bert and Ernie stand watching George's actions.
What's up, Ernie?
I don't know, but we better keep an eye on this guy. He bats.
The interior of George's house is lit up, and there are ghost lights by Ernie's spotlight. No furniture, cobwebs, wallpaper hanging, sort of like the White House.
Mary, Tommy, Pete, JD, Zuzu, where are you?
Zuzu?
They're not here, George. You have no children. You're rather
Where are you? What have you done with them?
Bert is standing in the entranceway with his gun in his hand.
Jesus Christ.
All right, put up your hands. No fast moves. Come on out here, both of you.
Bert, thank heaven you're here.
Stand back.
Bert, what's happened to this house? Where's Mary? Where's my kids?
Watch him, Bert.
Come on.
Bert, Ernie! Bert and Ernie, like Sesame Street. What's the matter with you two guys? You were here on my wedding night. You both of you stood out here on the porch and sung to us. Don't you remember?
Think I'd better be going.
Look, now why don't you be a good kid and we'll take you to a doctor. Everything's going to be all right.
Bert, now listen to me. Ernie, Rubber Ducky, will you take me over to my mother's house, Bert? Heaven, listen. It's that fellow there. He says he's an angel. He's tried to hypnotize me.
I hate to do this, fella.
Bert raises his gun to hit George on the head. As he does so, Clarence darts in and fixes his teeth in Bert's wrist, forcing him to let him go.
Run, George, run!
George rushes out. They try to handcuff Clarence.
Help, Joseph, help!
Oh, shut up.
Help, oh, Joseph, help, Joseph!
Suddenly, Clarence disappears from under Bert's hands, and Bert gets up, amazed by his vanishing.
Where'd he go? I had him right here.
I need a drink.
Well, which way did they go? Help me find them.
The Bailey home. George runs up to the path of the front door of the house and raps on the door. He rings the bell and taps on the glass when his attention is brought to a sign on the wall reading Ma Bailey's boarding house. The door opens and a woman appears. It is Mrs. Bailey, but she has changed amazingly. Her face is harsh and tired. In her eyes, once kindly and understanding, there is now cold suspicion. She gives no sign that she knows him.
Well,
Mother?
Mother, what do you want?
Mother, this is George. I thought sure you'd remember me.
George who? If you're looking for a room, there's no vacancy.
Oh, Mother, please help me. Something terrible's happened to me. I don't know what it is. Something's happened to everybody. Please let me come in. Keep me here until I get over it.
Get over what? I don't take in strangers unless they're sent here by somebody I know.
Well, I know everybody you know. Your brother-in-law, Uncle Billy.
You know him?
Well, sure I do.
When did you see him last?
Today, over last at the house.
That's a lie. He's been in the insane asylum. He's been in the insane asylum ever since he lost his business. And if you ask me, that's where you belong.
George is stunned and shocked, and there's Clarence.
Strange, isn't it? Each man's life touches so many other lives, and when he isn't around, he leaves an awful hole, doesn't he, George? Who I will vamp while he goes to the bathroom.
I've heard a lot of things like this. You got me in some kind of spell or something. Well, I'm gonna get out of it. I'll get out of it. I know how to. The last man I talked to before all this stuff started happening to me was Martini.
Well, you know where he lives?
Sure, I know where he lives. He lives in Bailey Park.
Cut to the cemetery.
Are you sure this is Bailey Park?
I'm not sure of anything anymore. All I know is this should be Bailey Park. But where are the houses?
Well, you weren't here to build them, George.
George wandering around like a lost soul among the headstones. He looks around, and upon one is engraved a name, Harry Bailey. Feverishly, George scrapes away the snow covering the rest of the inscription. In memory of our beloved son, Harry Bailey, 1911 to 1919.
Yes, your brother, Harry Bailey, broke through the ice and drowned at the age of 9.
That's a lie. Harry Bailey went to war. He got the Congressional Medal of Honor. He saved the lives of every man in that transport.
Every man on that transport died. Harry wasn't there to save them because you weren't there to save Harry. You see, George, you really had a wonderful life. Hey, that's catchy.
I think we should drink for that.
Sure.
Drink on It's a Wonderful Life. Why not?
Don't you see what a mistake it would be to throw it away?
Is this Clarence? Help me, Clarence. Where am I?
You were on page 156.
156. Okay, we're back. I'm sorry to be so bad.
Every man on that transport died. I just finished that line.
Okay. I'm not sure of anything anymore. Is that it?
Nope. You just say Clarence.
Clarence.
Yes, George. You say, where's Mary?
Where's Mary?
Oh well, I can't.
No, yes you can, you son of a bitch. Where is it?
Page 156.
156 in the PDF.
All right. Is it that's a lie? Or did we already pass that?
I don't know how you know these
Yes,
things.
here we are. I don't know how you know these things, but tell me, where is she?
He grabs Clarence by the coat collar and shakes him, just like Mr. Gowland did to him. Is Mary to him.
I'm not supposed to tell.
Please, Clarence, just tell me where she is.
Well, you're not going to like it, George.
Where is she?
Well, she's an old maid. She never married.
Where is she? Man, where's Mary? Where is she?
Where
is she?
She's just about to close up the library.
George goes.
Library.
Library.
I'm not an
We'll have to
educated.
drink just for saying library.
I'm not an educated angel.
Library.
Yes, library.
Guys, he's over 200 years old. He didn't have libraries in his day.
Yes, that's right. It's very Shakespearean to say library.
Library.
I made a character choice because he's not a very bright angel, but he's very, very sweet and innocent.
Oh my God. I love
right.
you.
Okay,
Clarence falls to the ground.
Almost there.
Oh, there must be some easier way for me to get my wings. Couldn't I?
At the library, Mary comes out the door, then turns and locks it. We see George watching her from the sidewalk. She's very different. No buoyancy in her walk. None of Mary's abandon and love of life. Glasses, no makeup, lips compressed, elbows close to the body, kind of like Velma from Scooby-Doo. She looks flat and dried up and is extremely self-satisfied and efficient. George watches her.
Mary.
She's surprised.
Mary.
He starts to run.
Mary.
He's obviously a predator.
Mary, it's George. Don't you know me? What happened to us?
I don't know you. Let me go.
Mary, please. Oh, don't do this to me. Please, Mary, help me. Where's our kids? I need you, Mary. Help me, Mary.
Mary breaks away from him and dashes into the first door she comes to, the Blue Moon Bar. Small tables, booths. It's a bar. Mary comes running and screaming. George comes in, practically insane.
Let me go. Mary, don't run away.
Somebody call the police.
Hit him with a bottle. He needs a straitjacket.
Stop him.
Tom, Ed, Charlie, that's my wife.
Mary lets out a final scream. It faints into the arms of a woman at the bar.
Man. Oh, no, you don't. Mary!
George can't fight through the men holding him. Desperately, he thinks of Clarence and heads for the door.
Clarence! Clarence, where are you?
George breaks through the door and Bert arrives in his police car, gets out and heads for the door, runs into George.
Oh, it's you.
He grabs from George, pawing, but Bert falls down, gets up, grabs his gun, fires several times.
Stand back.
Gets into a car and screams off. He goes back to the bridge where he was standing before.
Clarence, help me. Clarence, get me back. Just get me back. I don't care what happened to me. Only get me back to my wife and kids. Help me, Clarence, please. Please, I want to live again. I want to live again. I want to live again. Please, God, let me live again.
George sobs. The wind dies down. A police car pulls up.
Hey, George. George, you all right? Hey, what's the matter?
Now get out of here, George. Bert, I'll hit you again.
Your name's George.
I'm George, get out.
What in the Sam Hill you yelling for, George?
George! Bert, do you know me?
Know you? Are you kidding? I've been looking all over town trying to find you. I saw your car piled into that tree down there, and I thought maybe... Hey, your mouth's bleeding. Are you sure you're all right?
What did you... My mouth's bleeding, Bert! My mouth's bleeding! Ah! Zuzu's pedals! Zuzu's... They're here! Bert, what do you know about that? Merry Christmas!
Drake! He starts running.
Mary! Mary!
George's wrecked car is smashed against the tree still. He sees that the Pottersville sign now says Bedford. You are now in Bedford Falls.
Hello, Bedford Falls!
He keeps on running.
Merry Christmas!
Drake!
Merry Christmas, George!
Merry Christmas, George! Happy Christmas!
Drake 3 times. For the children.
For the kids. Merry Christmas, movie house!
Drake!
Oh my goodness.
Christmas Emporium!
Drake!
Oh, holy cow!
That's you! Merry Christmas, you old building alone!
Drake!
For the Tots.
George notices the Potter's office window light is on. Potter's at his desk working a beat by his side.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Potter!
There we go.
And a happy new year to you in jail. Go home. They're waiting for you.
The lights are on. There's a fire in the fireplace. The Christmas tree is fully decorated with presents. Carter, the bank examiner, newspaper reporter, and photographer, and a sheriff are waiting in the hall for George. George comes dancing in the front door.
Mary! Well, hello, Mr. Bank Examiner.
Mr. Bailey, there's a deficit.
I know, $8,000.
George, I have a little paper here.
I'll bet it's a warrant for my arrest. Isn't it wonderful? Merry Christmas!
Drake!
For the Tots.
Reporters, where's Mary? Mary! Oh, look at this wonderful old drafty house. Mary! Have you seen my wife?
Merry Christmas, Daddy.
Daddy.
Stop wishing me Merry Christmas.
2 Merry Christmases.
Merry Christmas, Daddy.
The children are at the top of the stairs, Sound of Music style.
Pete, kids, Janie, Tommy, I could eat you up.
He's hugging them.
Where's your mother?
She went looking for you with Uncle Billy.
Zuzu comes running out.
Daddy!
Zuzu! My little ginger snap, how do you feel?
Fine. And not a smidge of temperature.
Oh, not a smidge of temperature.
Mary comes through the door.
Hallelujah!
Hello, George, darling.
She runs up the stairs and they embrace.
Mary!
George, darling, where have you been?
Mary. Oh, wait.
Oh, George.
Mary, let me touch it. Oh, you're real.
Oh, George.
You have no idea what's happened to me.
You have no idea what happened. Well, come on, George. Come on downstairs, quick. They're on their way.
All right.
Mary leads George, who is carrying a couple of the kids on his back, to a position in front of the tree.
Come on in here now. You stand right over there by the tree. Right there. And don't move. I hear him now, George. It's a miracle.
Uncle Billy, face flushed, covered with snow, and carrying a clothes basket filled with money, bursts in. He's followed by Ernie and about 20 more townspeople.
Isn't it wonderful?
Isn't it wonderful?
The rest of the crowd all greet George with greetings and smiles. Each one comes forward with money in their pockets and shoe boxes and coffee pots. Money pours on the table. Money. More people come in. Gangway as a new bunch comes in. So much money.
Mary did it, George. Mary did it. She told a few people you were in trouble, and they scattered all over town collecting money. They didn't ask you.
Money, thank you.
Collecting money. Hold on one moment. Didn't ask any questions. They just said, if George is in trouble, count on me. You never saw anything like it.
Tom comes in, the money grubber from earlier, digging in his purse as he comes.
What is this, George? Another run on the bank?
Charlie adds money.
Here you are, George. Merry Christmas.
Ernie's trying to get some order.
The line from the right.
Martini comes in.
Mr. Martini, Merry Christmas. Step right up here.
Drink. Martini dumps money in.
I busted the jukebox too.
Mr. Gower enters and immediately shakes George.
Hey,
Mr. Gower.
my charge accounts.
Violet Bick arrives and takes out the money George had given her for her trip back to New York.
Violet Bick?
I'm not going to go, George. I changed my mind.
Annie, the maid, because it doesn't matter what kind of maid, enters, digging money out of a long black stocking.
I've been saving this money for a divorce if I ever get a husband.
Mr. Partridge, the high school principal, is the next door.
There you are, George. I got the faculty all out of bed. And here's something for you to play with. That doesn't sound creepy.
I wouldn't have a roof over my head if it wasn't for you, George.
Ernie is reading a telegram as George plays with Mr. Partridge's whatever.
Just a minute. Quiet. Everybody, quiet. Now, this is from London. Mr. Gower cables. You need cash. Stop. My office instructed to advance you up to $25,000. Stop. Hee-haw.
Oh, Jesus.
Twice.
And Merry Christmas. Sam Wainwright.
Everybody starts singing and being happy, and oh, there comes Harry.
Hello, George. How are you?
Harry.
Mary, looks like I got here too late.
Harry, I got him here from the airport as quickly as I could. The fool flew up all the way here in a blizzard.
It's me, Mrs. Bailey, or the other Mrs. Bailey? Okay.
It's you.
Okay. Harry, how about your banquet in New York?
Oh, I left right in the middle of it as soon as I got Mary's telegram. Glass of wine. Good idea, Ernie. A toast to my big brother, George, the richest man in town.
George, still holding Zulu in his arms, glances down at the pile of money on the table. His eye catches something on top of the pile, and he reaches down for it. It's Clarence's copy of Tom Sawyer. He opens it to find an inscription written, "Dear George, remember no man is a failure who has friends. Thanks for the wings. Love, Clarence."
What's that?
It's a Christmas present. Dear friend. What?
And then there's the sound of this.
Look, Daddy! Teacher says every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
That's right. That's right. Attaboy, Clarence.
And that is the end of a Christmas story. It's wonderful.
Oh, it is a Christmas story.
Wow.
This wasn't a Christmas
Wow.
story. This was a one. It's
Not
a
at
one-
all. This is the worst Christmas story ever told.
Hey, got a man who's gonna kill himself.
Saying.
George got a second chance at life.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, like in the last 15 minutes.
So I gotta ask, would you say that if anybody out there has not successfully gotten into the Christmas spirit, that all they need to do is embrace this 2-hour and 46-minute read?
Yeah, but they should probably pause it and take a peek at some time. Like, that's intense.
I will say I cried 2 to 3 times while wrapping gifts today while watching this over again. Like,
Oh, I cried watching it too. I watched it the other day, and I don't know.
I
beautiful.
cried trying to get through this.
It's that kind of movie.
Okay, I cried
I'm a
trying to get
Jew,
my
so
Zoom to
whatever.
work. But there's
Yeah.
that.
I would say if this
feel
does
like
not,
there
if this
should be
does
a
not get them in the
disclaimer.
Christmas spirit, they should probably donate to Toys for Tots because that.
Yes, that will get them in. Donating
Tots
to Toys for Tots will
little bit
definitely
helps.
get you in the Christmas
If you
spirit.
enjoyed this read, if you loathed this read, if you don't know what the fuck to make of this read, donate to Toys for Tots.
Yeah.
You can do it at scriptsgonewild.com. Click on the donate tab. It'll take you right to their portal, or you can go through the chat. You'll see I've posted the links quite a few times. And as much money as you can donate would be very much appreciated.
Oh,
That's why we just
so
subjected ourselves to
appreciated.
this. Also, a couple of quick little housekeeping things. Our next couple of reads, this was our last read of 2020. So first of all, thanks to you guys who have helped make our quarantine reads so memorable. We could not have done it without our amazing readers and our amazing audience. So thank you guys for that. This is our last read of the year. Bye-bye 2020. Hello 2021. Our first read is January 6th. We are tackling Robert Rodriguez's The Faculty, which should be a lot of fun. And then on January 13th, we are hitting Back to the Future. Because why not?
Wow.
Back to the Future time. We're all across the socials at Scripts Gone Wild. You can support us monthly on Patreon at patreon.com/ScriptsGoneWild. You can support us on PayPal at paypal.me/ScriptsGoneWild, or you can go to the website, scriptsgonewild.com, and you can find merch. We've got t-shirts and mugs and masks and totes and all sorts of fun stuff. And now is the time where I have everybody, I count to 3, and we take our group photo here on the Zoom.
Oh, wow, doing that.
Everybody get their best non-drunk look ready. 1, 2, 3. There we go. That's kind of all I've got for everybody. So why doesn't everybody just give a final wave to everyone? Actually, you know what? I'm going to run down the cast list one more time very quickly so folks know who we are. We've got Amanda Wyss.
Woo! Merry Christmas!
Tate Ellington.
Yay!
Thatcher.
Bravo! Merry Christmas!
Merry
Adam
Christmas.
Carl.
Woo!
Carolina Bonetti.
Yay!
Billy Butler.
Hey, love you, Billy.
Randolph Thompson.
Yay!
Chad Addison.
Yay!
Ryan Gowland.
Happy holidays.
Ken Foster.
Yay!
Clay Keller.
Yay!
Who very quickly is also the co-host of the Screen Dress podcast that you should check out.
yes.
Woo!
Sure. Yes, I am.
Rico Anderson.
Rico!
Tasha Ames.
Yay!
Tasha!
Aaron LaPlante.
Yay!
And we're reading one of his original scripts in February called Sharon and Aaron.
That's so cool.
Yes.
That script.
And the great Drea Clark.
Hey!
Everybody wave goodbye to the